What's going on there, ladies and gentlemen? What is happening? Early week hangout. Let's see. Let me see here. Make sure this audio is working. Do a little sound check right off the bat. See how she's doing. And we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Let me see here. Turn that down. Audio test. That should be a little better. I don't know why that's so low, but let's see what we got here. Okay, that seems to be a little bit better. There we go. Not too shabby right there. Okay. So what is going on? All the usual suspects are here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay. So. There we go. Mugshot. Oh, I mean, yeah. What's going on, folks? Like, I don't know if some of you have read the community post that I put on there. I won't be on Friday, so I decided to do one early. Now, my son, he has, he's in, like, performing arts and stuff like that at school, and he had it last week when we were fine. Weekend prior to that, we were in Ohio. This time we'll be in Indiana. So, you know, we're going up there, so it's from Friday to Sunday, so obviously I couldn't do it, and I got to take off at 10 a.m. on Friday. Doesn't do me any good as far as a live hangout, so I figured I'd do one today, and an hour early. I know it kind of messes with some people's schedules. Anybody in the UK? Probably not. Anybody who's at work right now, here in the United States, not so much. Because, yeah, not to mention things are changing at work as well, where they're giving us, like, more hours to work. So that it may, I don't think it's going to, but sometimes, you don't want to say with definition, but it may or may not affect the videos. I don't think it will, because as far as I'm concerned, the hours still work out well, you know, with doing these videos. So that won't be an issue either. Even if it was like one sleazy less one during the week, which I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to keep the 4 if I can, but 3 has always been an average. And like I said, I want to continue to do these. It's what I like to do. So I can kind of decompress and mess around with these things, and you know, and then of course share them and pass them along to you folks. So that's what we want to do. Later, thank God it's Wednesday. Wait a minute, what? So yeah, that's the reason why we're here today. Let me make sure again. 3 has always been an average. Okay. Audio sound good to you guys? Level up there pretty good? Just want to make sure. So anyway, we have Noodles in there, Mimi's in there, Lionheart Glassworks, I'm sorry. Daniel Lee's in there. Jacob M. says good evening. What's going on, Jacob? Great for All's in there. John Beck. Let's see. Laird's in there. Let me see. Robert Harbour says, all right, hangout today? Question mark? Cool. Yeah, like I said, it was just... instead of getting, like, you guys not having a hangout at all, I figured, like I said, we'd have it tonight. And you know, some people have been telling me too, like, and I'm sure you guys have seen it if you've been reading the comments, where they're going, it's such a like a breath of fresh air to get away from all what's going on in the world and be able to just get together on these hangouts. So I felt like, well, like I said, I was compelled to do it tonight as opposed to none at all. So. And I hear you guys. I mean, sometimes you just want to get away from it, just kind of like just tunnel right into what we're talking about here, forget about the world, and it's a beautiful thing, right? Although we do touch on the topics, some people like the topics, some people don't like the topics, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, it's something a lot of people are dealing with around the world. I don't care if it's simple gas prices or what's going on in other countries. You know, I know it's not a normal topic. But some people just, you know, they want to talk about it. You can't tell them no. But obviously we'd rather talk about more space stuff, you know. So, yeah. Let's see. We are sovereigns in there. It's happy Friday. Oops. What's going on? Oh, I appreciate it, Robert. You said I put the thumb up in the up position. Sweet. Eric Douglas, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. The way you ended last vid, brilliant. Had a chance to pause and look at all the stages of progression. Yeah, I thought I'd start doing that, too, if we can do it every now and then. especially if there's many stages of it. It's one thing to just go, you know, normal photo, raw, quote unquote, to full enhanced. Then it's just only 2, so it's really not a big deal. And then, of course, but if you have many, you can do that, and you can see, like you said, the progression of it and how we went about it. And like I said, for some reason, like I said, I kind of dedicated it to my good friend Blair fan, where they just believe there's no way, no how, these photos could be even messed with or censored in any way, shape, or form. And we all know better than that. I mean, all you have to do is just research into the photos. And like I said, all I had to do is go into the raw photo, just on the raw plate of the photo, just one of the raw plates, and you can see this thing with ease without having to do anything. He said, well, if you're burning, you're making these things pop out. No, it's right there in the photo. I don't have to do a thing to it. Now, I did go into it after the fact, but as far as them 2 rectangular, what looks like pads or something on top of it, like one's on top of the other, right? And, of course, there's a bunch of little things lower and on top of, these what look like flat foundations, platforms, call them what you will. They're there. And like I said, anytime I see something really brightened up a lot, highly contrasted, then right off the bat, you know something's up. You just know it. And, excuse me, and I noticed a lot of you folks noticed the bright light, like I said. It's like, why did it look like the light's literally over the camera? And, of course, you have these lens flares, supposedly. Let me get a little something to drink here. You get these lens flares, and you'll get that with, like, common sense, right? But they were saying it just doesn't make sense the way the photo looks. It's just not right, and I totally agree. They put that on there to try to make the white that they put over that whole mountain, and that whole thing is not even a mountain. It's all completely... I could have kept going with that photo, and there's more stuff in it. But I wanted to go into that more because that section seemed to have the most in it. And you could see it without really doing a whole lot to it. Like I said, going into the raw plate, and you can see that straight edges, and you can see what looks like rectangular piece on top of another rectangular piece. It's just really, really weird stuff. And it wasn't just for him. It's for the general people that just go, I don't believe that they're doing into these photos. And clearly we know better, right? What's going on, you God? It says Mars anomalies to be on. Valerian's in there, the Mac 3. What's going on? Human Renaissance whooping my arse today. My ascension symptom is heightened. Yeah, that'll do it. Laird says I was 2 tiles into tiling a kitchen floor, but what the heck? That can wait. I appreciate it, man. You know, some people are like, I got things to do. I ain't got time for that. So I appreciate you being here. And it was, and I do, again, I appreciate it even more so that you folks are here because just kind of sprang it on you. I was just like, well, I probably won't be able to do it tomorrow because I'll be busy then. Friday, obviously, won't be able to do anything. So I was like, you know what? I want to be on at least one point during this week, so why don't we do it today? So this is the reason why, you know, it's such a short notice. And so, again, I appreciate you guys being here so we can get in, you know, chit-chat and all this other good stuff. And I know a lot of people ain't going to be here because they're not expecting it. And for some reason, a lot of people don't get notifications. Surprise, surprise. But nonetheless, I still got some fine folks in here regardless, right? So, awesome. Let's see. Hey, Chris, James Rink hosts a Super Soldier page for... Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, you ain't on a woke. Claire Mead, what's happening? He said, hi, all. I was thinking, is it Friday? No, you're not, you know, you don't have just some kind of weird delusion going on. No, it's Wednesday. But, yeah. What's going on there? What was it? The Matt Corbet, what's happening? Dog Creek Customs, what's happening? LOL, Chris, did you disable your dislike button on your channel? I've never gave you one, but I just seen it when I hit the button. No, it's something YouTube done. They've done this themselves, where I can still see the buttons. You can see the thumbs up and the thumbs down. They just disabled the views for you seeing it, which to me is just perfectly fine. And it's not because you always get down votes or down likes. You'll always get that. I don't care what channel you are, you always get dislikes. The cool thing about it, like I said before, is that people would see the thumbs down. Oh, well, I'm automatically going to hate the video, which is stupid, right? It automatically puts us in the head like a preset position to say, oh, well, it's thumbs down. So clearly this video is probably not going to be that great. No. It's kind of like I said before, when it's like going to see a movie, you say, man, I can't wait to see that. And your friend says, I've seen it. It's really not that great, man. You're going to hate it. And you don't go see it, right? And then for some reason you happen to see it online or whatever else, and you go, man, it's a fantastic movie. What the heck was he talking about? That's why I'm glad that they've disabled that. It's not about whether the dislikes show or not. Who cares? They don't bother me. But the idea is it's given the people who are just going to watch the video and they see that right off the bat, they go, maybe it's not that great. But clearly there's going to be a whole lot more thumbs up than there is down, so I always give a video. I don't care what video is I like, what channel meaning, I watch them regardless of it. You know, some will be more exciting, some of them maybe not so much, but it's not the point. I love the channel regardless, so I'm going to watch it, despite the dislikes, right? I could care less. But yeah, they've done that themselves. Yeah. What's going on, Kyle? Good to see you in there, man. And by the way, thank you very much, and hope you're having a good week. We are in hump day. I hope everything's okay, Grizz, and I love the last video. Makes no sense that the light is right above the camera. Yeah, I mean, it's just really weird. Now, and again, Kyle, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. I was going to get really in-depth in that in the video and talk about that, where I kind of get that when you look at the rocks in the foreground, you have a shadow where it looks like the sun is directly coming from in front of the astronaut, right? And that it's shining down, and that's why you have these shadows beyond the rocks. Like the shadows are facing you. Kind of makes sense. But it looks like the sun should be more over, right? It looks like it should be more in front. So let's suppose, hypothetically, I'm wrong, and it's right above, literally just before it gets into the scene of the camera itself, right? Okay, that would kind of make sense, but still, it's funny how it's completely whited out on that hill, that supposed hill, and it's not a hill at all. Like I said in there, I believe they're either A, structures, or something that's turned over on its side and you're seeing the detail to it. Why do I say that? Well, you really don't see too many things that are like, if you were to take a hill and it's flat, but then all of a sudden you turn it, why would somebody build things on an angle? It's kind of weird, right? So it's either something that's rolled over on its side and you're seeing the top of it, at least in my opinion, or it's just the way they build on hills. I mean, I don't know. It's really bizarre if you really think about it. Well, Arian says, feels like Friday. Yeah, I know. For the people that are going, man, I was so hoping it's Friday. Did this on Wednesday. I still got 2 more days of work. Man, it sucks. Trust me, I know. It's like it sucks. Jean wants it. Friday comes twice a week. Nice. Yeah, I know, no doubt, right? Well, like I said, if you were here, I was just saying that, you know, I won't be on Friday, so I figured not to kind of cheese everybody out of a hangout, because I like doing the hangouts as well, and so, you know, I figured I'd share it this evening with everybody. You know, even if we get a couple hours in, that's what the whole point is, right? Is to hang out with you fine folks. Good to see you in there, Jean Ward. And by the way, I just watched that last video of yours. Awesome. Like I said, when you start piecing together these satellite photos, the ground photos like I do, other people are doing that as well. You start putting these together, and all of a sudden you just got these weird, bizarre, like puzzle, like you just put it all together, and it's just absolutely crazy stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you do what you do. Makes a big difference, and it gives people a different perspective, which is awesome. Renee V, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Dondrell Richardson, salute to you too, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Your Highness is in there. What's going on, Your Highness? Let's see. Let me see. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back here. I think this thing jumped on me here. I'm going, I don't remember seeing this one. I'm not sure what you mean by that. This is not a free show, Daniel. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Dog Creek Customs, you said, I see it only on your page. See, that's really weird. Some people get notifications. They're on instantly. Some people go, I never got a notification. I just happened to be on your homepage and said new video or whatever, and it just happened to pop up. I'm like, what the heck? But this is not the only place or the only channel that's getting screwed like that. But You know how that goes. And Kyle, thank you again for your support as always. Always a supporter of the live feeds and super chats. I have just gave a thumbs up. Sweet. Appreciate you. Again, Dan, I'm not sure what you mean. You can be more, specific. You said 50-50, bye. Okay. Kylie said it's an underground facility. You know what? It could be the very top of whatever. It could be the very top of whatever we're seeing there, right? It could very well be. I don't know. Or it's just something that's located on the surface. Now, if that moon buggy, and I do use the term if that is actual photo and wasn't superimposed into there, then whatever is on that hill is pretty large. I mean, you look at the moon buggy; it's much larger than that buggy. Now, picture the astronaut in it. He's much smaller. So whatever these things are pretty darn big. And again, they're there to like a recon mission and to like just going deeper and deeper into the stuff and collect whatever they can. Even if it's just photos or maybe they're doing analysis in some other ways, whatever they were actually doing to bring this information back to Earth, Let me see. Dog Creek, you said, oh, well, doesn't matter anyways. No one deserves to give this channel a dislike. Well, I appreciate that. Well, here's the thing. Again, I've seen this on really, really good videos, okay? It could, and like I said this before, I used this analogy before. I said, you could be Jesus himself and doing miracles. Thumbs down. And that's just the way people are. In fact, you could have all thumbs up. Absolutely all thumbs up. Somebody doing, wait a minute, there's not a thumbs down? I'll go ahead and give that. Hey, listen, it's not affecting the channel one way or the other. Because if you have both likes and dislikes, it just helps this. YouTube sees that as an algorithm. Oh, it helps to, like, more interaction on the channel. Good, bad, or indifferent. So they don't give a damn. I mean, and I don't either. I don't lose sleep at night. I don't care. You always have people that just are just not entirely on board, if you will. So you'll get that, Larry in the Mac 3 says, heard ancient Martians were a little taller than us, like the tall whites. I don't know. I haven't heard that. Now, I know there are stories, I think, that claim that. Like I said before, folks, I'm wondering, and maybe I didn't mention this before, maybe I did, but I'll mention it again. I'll throw it out there again. What if, now we talked about, like, the giants are on Earth or brought down from the heavens, so on and so on. The fallen angels had come down. They mated with the women of Earth. Now, again, if it's been going on for thousands of years, would that have changed our DNA? Of course, we believe that it would. So now, over a course of thousands of years, humans start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, so on and so forth. Is it possible that we are now the giants? Think about it. We've seen things, weird things on the moon that look miniature. We've seen things on Mars that don't look very big. And then there's some things that do look kind of big on the moon. But is it because it's just something small laying on the ground and it looks kind of big? Or is it these things actual structures? And then not much bigger. Some of the structures themselves, singly, don't look any bigger than the actual moon buggy. And then, again, we see a bunch of things on Mars and we just go, wow, you just try to get your head wrapped around it. It's like, it just looks too small. It looks like a structure, but it's too small for somebody to live in. Or is it? I don't know. Like I said, is it possible that over a course of thousands upon thousands of years, we became the giants after them coming down from the heavens, the fallen angels, and now we are the giants, and that everything around us could be small? This is the reason why it's even more difficult to see these things through an actual, really good big telescope to see these structures on the moon. And that's why we don't see it that good, because maybe they're actually a lot smaller than they, than like average here. Now, there are things I've seen on videos where it looked like giant containers, like on the surface of on the moon, and they're huge. They are quite large because it's coming from, or the photo is being taken from orbit, and you can see it's like off. I don't remember exactly what photo that was, or what mission it was, but you can see it in the lower left corner. There's like, it looks like almost like a rail car, like a train car. But it's absolutely huge. And you see it in the original, but you don't see it because at first you're looking at, it's just whited out. It's just censored out, whatever. When you darken it, suddenly this thing pops right out. And I've seen this more than once. Different things laying on the side. Just stuff laying completely straight, laying on the surface. So are these super large structures or not? Like I said, it's hard to get your mind wrapped around it. One minute you think things are like extremely large. People, like these beings may be 10 feet tall. And then you go, well, wait a minute. The way these things look, they look like they're inches tall, like a half a foot. Just weird. What is your take on that, folks? Do you believe that could be either or is it possible, like I just threw out there, that over the course of thousands of years, we became the giants, and that what we're seeing on the moon and on Mars is actually smaller than what we would build here on Earth? Just curious. Let's see. What's going on there, Christine Ingram? Good to see you in there. Let me see. Josh D said, the only problem I have with very small people is how about the brain volume. Well, we don't know. I mean, it could be, look at some of the small creatures and insects and everything else here on Earth. You know, like dolphins. They're pretty darn smart for what they are, and they don't have the brain capacity we do. Now, when you look at it, some of the things, and I know some of the studies they've done, and I think we talked about this a long time ago on live feed, where they had like, I forget what it was, like 10 children in the pool. Now, one of them actually had cancer, I think, in the stomach. And what they did was they just put all these kids in the pool, and then they had this dolphin come in and just kind of just swam by him, and it literally stopped right there and looked right at it and kept poking his nose into his stomach. Like he knew exactly what was going on. Wait a minute. So do they know something we don't? Is it their brain function a whole lot more superior, even if it's a lot smaller? Maybe they use 100% of their brain as opposed to what we do. We don't use 100% of our brain. I think it's like 30%. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this. But it just makes you wonder. If their brain is much smaller, but they're using 100% of it, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Look at ants, how they work in unison with each other. They're just like one big ant, so to speak, because they get everything done together. They'll fight together. They'll build together. Obviously, they're there for the queen and all this other stuff. They may be very small, but they're very intelligent for what they are. So, I don't know. David Vaught, what's happening? Good to see you there, man. He said, you got it, Chris. And anything or skeleton found on Earth bigger than us was confiscated by the Smithsonian and lost. Yeah, I know. I've seen that. Now, some of them, we know that some of these photos are completely fake, right? See these huge skulls, and, you know, it's like 2 or 3 guys standing next to it, and it's like bigger than 3 of them. No, they're not that big. But there are very big people that were like 10, maybe 12 feet stretching it. That's pretty big. And, excuse me, that was on the norm, by the way. That wasn't like a fluke. That was like almost on the norm. Now, of course, you had shorter people, but if, again, over a course of years, we all became bigger because the DNA is being changed bigger, larger, larger, larger. Now, all of a sudden, we're the big beings in the solar system, and everything else we see around us just looks very small. I think that's a very good possibility. I'm open to it. I'm not saying it's 100% real or that I'm into it 100%, but I'm not going to dismiss it either, right? IR Film, what's happening? Hi, Chris. Hello, everyone. Was very slow today. Glad I spotted you. LOL. Your notification did not count on YouTube. Exactly. I didn't get any as well. Cheers. Well, like I said, just make sure that when you go on to subscribe, I mean, obviously you probably subscribe, but then hit that little bell and then just click on it. It says, you know, I think it says all, like, because I think some of them say either notifications, just say all. Just tick that box all, and you'll get all of the. You should get them all, any kind of notifications. John Schaub, well, that's true. Dolphins don't have mortgages to worry about. True, but we're just going by just strictly, you know, different sized brain pan, so to speak, right? So if you talk about smaller beings, whether it be on Mars or the moon, or once occupied both of these bodies, you know, again, if we had a brain even half the size of us, but they use 100% of it, where ours is large and we don't use that much. So would they be equal to us, or maybe even more intelligent? I don't know. I really don't. Laird, you said octopus is thought to be highly intelligent. Look how small they are. Well, and as you can see what they do, right? They just basically just squeeze through any hole and everything else. So that's, you know, animals are just really wild, right? Let me watch it. What's happening? Good to see you in there. He said, interesting, Chris, my thoughts. Yep. Mr. Custom Tailored One, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Oh, way to go. La Marzulli does very good research on Nephilim, John Awards. John, I don't think I've ever heard of him. I guess it's a he. I'm just guessing. But, yeah, I've heard quite a bit about the Nephilim. They're pretty interesting. And like I said, if they came down and they literally mated with the women, did they just go, oh, okay, it's just a one-night stand thing and we're just here for the weekend? Or did they do much more? That's the whole key, right? So, and how long were they here, or how long has this been going on? Again, changes our DNA over X amount of years, right? King Bogart said octopi actually have DNA that is found in no other species on Earth. Right, and King Bogart, because it's funny you said that, because I know they were saying that some people are stating that octopi, because of multiple octopus, is that, you know, they're not of this planet. Who knows, right? But either way, like you said, it's just they don't share any kind of DNA with anything else. So, yeah, they are kind of a weird species. Makes you wonder if they're actually an alien, but they know what's going on, but they just don't, you know, lead on or let on to anything. You know, I don't know. Just weird. Dog Creek Customs, you said, I agree with the brain size means nothing. Kind of like we thought only places so far from the sun is the only places that could sustain life. Yeah, and yet we're finding this out differently, right? Especially through science, how it changes over the course of time. It's like, well, right now this is the best information we have. And then go down the line about 10 years from now, well, we got to scrub that, which is good. That's what science does, right? It just progresses. And when they find out new information, new data, you know, scientists get together and okay, you're right, and got a consensus, then that all changes. So that's the beautiful part about science. It's ever changing. Pete Ferrero, what's going on? You said some dinosaurs have very small brains compared to size. DNA makes the difference. Well, again, I mean, you can have a very small brain, but is it 100% capacity? It's sad because they said what we would be if our brain was 100% capacity. That would be like, wow, like next level shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Totally different than what we are right now. You know, telekinesis, all kinds of weird crap. We'd probably be able to do it no problem. So, you know, they claim, and I don't know if it was 30 to 40% maybe of our brain capacity. And even if it was 50%, okay, it's still only 50%. So if you have a smaller brain, half the size of ours, and it's at 100% capacity, isn't it about equivalent to us? Well, depending on, you know, what species it is, whether it's an animal, insect, whatever it may be. An insect would be pretty bad if they had a brain that darn big. And scary. Let me see. Jerry said, Chris, You're on Wednesdays now? No, I just happened to do it just for today, Jerry, because, like I said, I won't be here Friday. Leaving at 10 o'clock. My son is like competing with other schools and stuff like that. So last weekend I was here, no problem. Weekend prior to that was in Ohio. So I'll be in Indiana this Friday through Sunday. So it'll be pretty interesting. And, you know, which is also pretty awesome is that he got accepted into a college, full scholarship and everything else for performing arts and stuff like that. So, and singing and all this other stuff. So, really proud of him. It's just awesome to be able to see him do that stuff. So, but for now, being it's his last year in high school, he's doing pretty darn good. Can't can't knock him for anything. Kenneth Proctor, what's going on? He said, it sounds like Gulliver's Travels. In a sense, right? See what they did to him. And call all these little people and tying them down. And yeah. Let's see. Robert Kermit Cole says, tunnels have been found in New Mexico that are for smaller people. Something very surprising was that they were found right near the Archaeological department. More interesting is that more were found. Wow, that's interesting. What's going on, Noodles? Good to see you. And he says, already here. Marina, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Oh, Steve, okay. This might be easy to just call me by my actual name. It doesn't, I could have just called you Dog Creek. You know, it don't really matter. But that works too. A lot shorter. Kyle, you said, I believe that the Anunnaki people are the extraterrestrials. I guess it was supposed to be that. That are controlling the Greys, and the Greys are biological robots built by them. I mean, there's so many different ways we can look at that, right? Is it like a hybrid being? Is it, you know, fully synthetic? I mean, it's just, we just don't know. I mean, we're just going by what people claim as Greys. Obviously, I don't think 99% of us, or 99.9.999 has probably seen an alien. As far as maybe a craft, yes, not an actual alien. So, you know, I'd have to believe, now I'm not saying there could be any other species out there, but I'd have to believe a lot of them are probably very similar to us, at least in this solar system, or what was living in this solar system. So I would have to believe that they're probably a lot similar to us. Obviously some differences, but when people start talking about lizard people, and I'm not quite on board with that. Now, as far as the Greys, yeah, if there's different species out there, then obviously they've adapted to their world, and maybe there's very low light. This is the reason why they have very large eyes. Who knows the way their build is? It could be a lot of gravity, and they're just not very tall. You know, it's kind of like if we moved over to Mars right now, it could just go like that. We're on Mars. You probably wouldn't have many back problems if you had back problems. You'd probably be fine. All of a sudden, oh, wow, this is great. And you can run around in there and feel like you're like 12 again because you'd have less weight. You'd be able to, of course, I don't know about the breathing part, but if that's all bogus and there's a lot more oxygen there, then, well, there you go. And even if it wasn't, breathing apparatus, ready to rock. So this just, you know, you're going to adapt to your environment. It's pretty simple, right? Last week, yes, I am. I'm actually doing like more concentrating on this particular one right now. Doesn't mean I'm not going to kick off the other ones or get back to the other ones as well. Because your question was, are you still running the other channels or just focusing on this one? Your last few moon photos were on this channel, if I saw correct. You did. What I want to do is try to take those eventually, if I can get around to it, is take those and put those on the moon and just keep everything collective on the moon. So this way, if you go, I want to check out moon videos, you can suggest it, and every one of them will be there, or at least copy them and throw them over there, right? And that would probably be the better thing to do. So you can still have it on both channels if they wanted to, but if you just want to send somebody just to see nothing but moon, that would be the channel to do it on. To be truthful, I just haven't been able to get to those. Doesn't mean I avoid them, I just haven't really got to them. So it may be something I need to be doing in the future too, is doing that. David Vaughn, good question. He said, and where's the DNA strain of Nephilim? Would have been tracked by now. They've done all races on Earth. Well, maybe it is what we are today, and they're not seeing anything extra DNA in there from quote unquote the Nephilim. Maybe because we are who we are, and even though we've branched off from different species, but that doesn't mean an extra DNA segment, of course, and the different parts of DNA haven't been added to the DNA. So what we're seeing right now, what they're seeing under the microscope, might have been millions of years ago this happened, and we wouldn't see the difference. Now, as far as any similarities with other animals and primates and stuff like that, well, maybe that's the difference, and because it's not a whole lot of difference, right, from some animals to us. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is it's always been in our DNA because it's happened millions of years ago, and they just don't see the difference, or there's not enough to see. I don't know, but it's a good question. Mimi actually said a while ago a human ancestor was found who is way older than expected. Well, they're starting to find this out too. Like some things not as old because the carbon dating could be way off. And of course, there's only certain things that can carbon date. And of course, there's different carbon dating methods. And then sometimes they find things that are like extremely older than what they thought. Say, well, what we thought was, well, it isn't. So, it makes a difference. But I'm always curious to see that because, like I said, if you go back, oh God, even just 15, 20 years ago tops, okay, let's call it 15, you would not see, the difference with, okay, you wouldn't probably know, like if you read this right here, you said, I'm talking about the ancestors. When you look at way back then, 15 years ago, you would see people, they probably found people that were what? Maybe 10,000 years old. Now they're going way the hell out to like quarter to 500,000, almost 1,000,000 years old. So, again, science marches forward, and there's always new leaps and bounds, basically, discoveries on how to do more carbon dating or better, precise carbon dating. So that's what I like. Again, it's always rolling forward, and that's what I love about it. Let me see. Flux capacitor 72 Monty, what's going on? We're probably not of this planet either. Well, they say we're more tuned, and our body's more tuned to Mars. So is it possible that that's where we're originally from and got over here some way, shape, or form, right? I believe that's a strong possibility. I really do. Josh D said they found they found octopus fossil older than the dinosaurs. Their presence was pushed back to 100 million. Oh, holy crap. Well, 100 million years. I don't know. That's pretty cool. John Sharp, question. What the hell is it? Okay, your question was, do you think that the Earth is a big zoo, and so there's a planet full of whales, another hippos, etc.? I don't know if I'd separate it like that. Now, people have said about this planet, and I've heard, believe it or not, I heard a young girl say this one time. She said, I believe this Earth is an ant farm and that they're looking over us. I went, I kind of laughed and I went, well, maybe that's true. We're thinking about how other species or aliens have been looking down at us, or if they changed our DNA, is it possible they're still keeping an eye on us to see how we evolve and our technological advances? And they're just keeping an eye on what we do. So in a weird way, we're like in a giant ant farm. They just keep an eye on what's going on. This one's doing this. This country's doing this. This one's doing this, and they're evolving to this, and they're doing that. It's a very good possibility. First you chuckle at it, then you go, that might be not that far fetched. I mean, I don't know. I believe there may be other planets with nothing but sea life, or I find it hard to believe just be land life if there's ocean as well, because you would think something had to go into the water. Let's say it was originally just land life, and somehow it would have to make it into the ocean because it wanted to swim or whatever, and just got adapted to swimming, and over the course of time it got web feet like the platypus. Kind of looks like this weird little furry animal / duck kind of web feet thing. So it'll adapt, right? So that's a good possibility. That could be the case. Ian, what's going on? Good to see you there. Cameron's in there. What's going on, Cameron? Good to see you there. Mars Leaks, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. This thing did jump on me. Holy crap. Curtibanus is in there. What's happening? DNA Addiction. Prometheus. I don't know why. I just have an urge to keep watching that movie all the time. Prometheus. Jerry Lahane, what's going on? He said, my best I can surmise is you get tired with Mars, low oxygen, like 3 miles high. Here, thin air, labored breathing, low energy. Not great for sports. Well, that's a fact, yeah. Let's see. Well, I mean, I believe what they claimed was that there's got to be a lot more oxygen, more dense, closest to the ground. Now, let's suppose, for argument's sake, they had little beings only half a foot to maybe a foot tall. Kind of makes sense then. They'd have all the oxygen they needed. They'd just do their thing. Obviously, if you're much taller, you're going to be laboring for a breath of air, right? I don't know. John says, my ex-wife was a primate. Figuratively speaking, like DNA-wise, or... Oh. Why did she used to hang from the chandelier and stuff? I mean, just curious. Gillis, Jaden, was it true that it was a nuclear war that ended Mars? And you can see, just go down a little further, you can see Jean Ward actually answers your question. He's pretty much spot on. But yeah, definitely. Not sure. Steve, you said test. Did chat time out again? Not that I'm aware of. Seems to be functioning on this end. Steve says, why is it doing that? Grr. I'm doing good, Cameron. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, like I said, Gail, he had said it, but yeah, Dr. John Brandenburg had stated that when they had checked the data from, actually I think it was him, but he checked the data and he found like Xeon-129 and all different other chemicals that make up what's left over from a nuclear fallout type thing, and I believe it was the Maven spacecraft that went into the lower atmosphere and was able to sniff out this radiation, as well as I think, and I could be wrong on this one, but I think the Curiosity rover actually could sense that too. Now, of course, they're really, really south of the face of Cydonia, or the Cydonia region, but that's where the two explosions happened. Now, again, when you go back to, what was this, back in the early, was it mid-70s, folks? Was it when they had there was a 2020 magazine where they had the face of Mars? I think that's where the first place I seen it. And I thought that was interesting because I'm going, face on Mars, everything that's either rolling on the planet right now or landed on the planet is like, here's the face of Cydonia region right here. It's like everything's down here, all around here. There's a couple of them actually in the area. So, what? I mean, coincidentally, they just happen to be all around, south, and pretty much close. I think there's one or two of them that's in the region. They just happen to be there. Imagine that. Coincidence? I don't think so. There ain't no coincidence when it comes to premeditated missions. It's like you know exactly what you're doing. You take photos and then say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, we see what we're seeing through the orbiter. Let's build this stuff to go there and let's land there. I mean, that's as simple as that. They see it, let's go. And then, like I said, they're not going to spend all kinds of money just to take just a shot in the dark. Just like, whatever happens, we'll just land wherever. Yeah, we're good. Because first of all, they're going to keep an eye on the landers, rovers, make sure everything's functioning correctly. They're going to land in a spot where they can do some observations or tests. So it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very precision. A lot of precision going into these missions, right? John Ward, I see you talking to Kyle about the Thunderbolts project. I keep hearing that thing. Now, I watched it myself. Now, where they simulate that into these like glass chambers, right? And you can see where it actually does, and it looks a lot like the scarring we see on the scar on Mars, right? What I don't agree with, I'm 50-50 on that, because it's kind of like saying, listen, I can go into my toilet when I flush it, and I can flush it, and I can simulate it being flushed. That doesn't mean there's a guy standing there flushing your bowl, literally just stirring the water when it goes down. So it can be simulated, but is that the real cause, right? So I don't know. You know, I'm not saying it's out of the question. It could very well be. I just find it interesting because I've heard that a lot, and I've actually seen that myself, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm totally on board with it, but I don't think that should be dismissed either, right? Oops. Let me see. Long Island, New York, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I like that. Smash that like, son. Bam. Hammer time. I say hit it good. Yeah, that'll do it, Steve. He said it could be all of the pop-up blockers I have. That could do it. That could very well do it. Yeah, I didn't, like I said, I wasn't going to be able to do one on Friday, Long Island, New York. I wasn't going to be able to do a feed on Friday, so I said, well, I got to at least get one in, because like I said, it gives us a chance to all get together and be able to chat it up like we normally do on a Friday evening. So I said, I want to at least have one. It'd be awesome just to be able to still chat with you guys. Because again, I'll be going at 10 a.m. in the morning on Friday, so clearly I won't be able to do it. So I want to at least, have one with you guys. John Sharp, question was, Chris, did they rocket the moon this weekend and blow up the evidence? Well, they're still claiming that. In fact, I think I have it up here. Let me see if I can find this again. Let me see. They were talking about this. There we go. And I can actually play this audio for you guys. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, you can tell it's one of those stupid robotic voices, but it's kind of smoother. But you can see after mistaken identity and confusion, a piece of space junk slams into the moon. Now, in fact, I'll even play this for you guys. And it's not really a video; it's just an audio piece. But let me see what we got here. Let me see. See if it plays out here. It may not. I don't know if it's going to play. Weird thing is, that thing was playing earlier. Maybe refresh it, see what happens.
A piece of a Chinese rocket slammed into the moon this morning, The Verge. After years of zooming through deep space, a presumed leftover piece of a Chinese rocket slammed into the moon today, just as space tracking experts expected it would. At least, it should have hit the moon around 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, as long as the law of gravity has not changed. The collision brings an end to the rocket's life in space and likely leaves a fresh new crater on the moon that may be up to 65 feet wide. The now expired rocket has caused quite a buzz this past month. First of all, the vehicle was never intended to crash into the moon, making it a rare piece of space debris to find its way to the lunar surface by accident. Additionally, there was some confusion over its identity, with various groups trying to nail down exactly where the rocket came from. Finding its way to the lunar surface by accident originally, space trackers thought it was a leftover piece of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that had launched a weather satellite back in 2015. But after careful analysis, various groups of space trackers confirmed that the rocket was likely leftover from the launch of China's Change 5 T1 mission, a flight that launched in 2014 to test out technology needed to bring samples back.
I love how it calls it Change 5. It's like Chang'e or Chang 5. I thought that was pretty funny.
From the moon.
And yeah, to answer your question, Steve, he said, yeah, at first they were thinking it was a rocket from SpaceX, and clearly that wasn't the deal. So yeah, Gillis Jaden, yep, Xenon 129, and I believe I believe, because keep in mind, it's on the far side of the moon, and guess what? Guess where most of these structures are at? Far side of the moon. It's almost like they're going, hey, listen, we know that this thing's back there, because I want understand this, folks. Their rover is actually on the far side of the moon, but it's closer to the south pole. So if they had gone and orbited and then landed, they've seen these things. You can bet they have. They're probably like, well, we don't want them to get a hold of it, so why don't we just bomb it? We don't know how the rocket happened to go there and get sucked in by the moon, but oh my God, oh well. I mean, think about it. And they didn't say the crater was going to be too big, but it doesn't need to be. All they need to do is just wreck the damn facility, and that's pretty much what it comes out to.
That mission, launched on a Chinese Long March 3C rocket, sent a spacecraft looping around the moon in an attempt to see if China could send a vehicle to the moon and then bring it back to Earth. Given the flight profile of the Change 5T1 mission and the tracking of the mystery object, astronomers are fairly certain that a chunk of the Long March 3C rocket has remained in an extremely elongated orbit around Earth ever since, only to find its way to the far side of the moon. China tried to deny that the rocket belonged to the country's space program, claiming that the rocket actually returned to our planet and fell into the atmosphere. According to China's monitoring, the upper stage of the Change 5 mission rocket has fallen through the Earth's atmosphere in a safe manner and burnt up completely, Wang Wenbin, a spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said during a press conference in February after trackers had changed the identity of the rocket. However, Wang may have mixed up his Chinese missions. Change 5 was a completely different mission that launched in 2020, while astronomers believe this rocket stemmed from the Change 5T1 mission, which took place 6 years earlier. Some other confusion revolved around the fact that the Space Force's 18th Space Control Squadron, 18 SPCS, which keeps track of space debris around Earth, noted on its tracking website that the rocket from the Change 5T1 mission returned to our planet about a year after launch and burned up in our atmosphere. However, the
Now, call me silly, but wouldn't they know this on the computer? In other words, to be off the list? I mean, these things are all tagged, basically, and they know every single one, and they're tracking it with satellites and everything else, but darn, just happened to get that messed up. If that thing crashed a long time ago, it wouldn't even be on the list of satellites out there, or engines, or whatever it may be that they're tracking, right? So I find that a little interesting that they just slipped his mind. He might have just picked the wrong one, or whatever. I find that a little weird that it would say something like that. Mimi Reaction said, I bet it crashed on purpose. I think you're right. I absolutely believe that's correct. Exactly, Kyle said, trust me, these guys know exactly what the F they're talking about, or they're doing. Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, it's kind of like anything we have in space, all right? We want to have it come down to Earth. Maybe it's completed its mission. It's time to have it come down in the ocean. Okay, they already know what it is. It's kind of like every tower that's in an airport. Every plane or jet or whatever's flying has its own ID signature. They know what it is. Okay, now you're going to tell me there's X amount of thousands of pieces of junk or actual functioning equipment outside an orbit, and they just don't know where it went. You know, it just happened to make its way to the moon. Think about this a minute. Sounds a little fishy to me. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen, because it depends on if it's on way out of orbit, right? Is it possible that at some point it could have just kept veering off and somehow the moon caught it with a little bit of gravity that it has and it caused it to crash? I don't think that's the case. And it just seems to be weird. How come it just didn't crash on the area or the face of the moon, which we see? No, it just happened to go to the back of the moon or the far side and kaplow. I just find it really fishy. I just find it really, really... yeah, there's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to that. Pat S., you said the secret space program, space program guys say they work on bases on Mars and even have wars with reptilians. I'm wondering if NASA hide evidence of this too. Well, anything that's, biological, or anything that's, it's just a structure, or anything other than dust and rocks and, basically rust all over the surface of Mars, they're going to hide it, because that's what you've been told over X amount of years, whether you were in school or not or whatever. It's like, oh, it's a red planet, it's dusty, it's It's just very arid. There's nothing there. It's like a desert, very cold. So to show you anything other than that, no, they're big bagging themselves, and I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, I've heard that too, and I've actually said that where they had several people that were supposed to be in a jump room, that once you got into this jump room, you literally, it's almost like beamed over to Mars, if you will, and as soon as you stepped out of these doors, like you could be in a building here, get into an elevator, and that's actually a jump room. When the doors open, you actually step out into the surface of Mars, but you're in a facility on the surface of Mars. And you would literally go out, and they had like this military people with you, and they would shoot down like these weird reptiles or dinosaurs, they even said, things that flew. They said the thing that there's a lot of things that want to eat you on the moon, on Mars. And so I'm going, okay, so let me get this right. So they won't go after mechanical things. They just go after things like people. Because why haven't they like tried to attack the actual rover itself? If things fly and it's capable, it's big enough to attack a person, why would it try to do some kind of damage to the rover? It's still moving around. They don't know what it is. They might try to kill it off, meaning, you know, drop rocks on this thing if it flies and whatever. You would have think they would attack this thing a long time ago. What's going on, Scratch? Says, hey, Chris, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Steve Garnham says, on my way home. Catch up later. All right, Steve, drive carefully. Watch out for all these nutcases coming out of work. See, some people, they don't care. They'll drive right over the top of you just to get home. It's like, okay, yeah. Oh, they're putting their face on while they're driving. Well, Wild Mountain Bear, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. He said China wants to nuke the moon. Well, at first, this rocket that was supposed to crash, and I think it was what was it, like five days ago, 3 to 5 days ago? That it went into the far side of the moon and crashed into the far side of the moon. Now, initially, they thought it was a SpaceX rocket, and it's not. It's a Chinese booster rocket that just happened to be, just go to the moon, go to the far side of the moon, and explode. And I think they said it was only like going to be about 65 feet crater in diameter, which is a decent-sized crater. I mean, it's nothing, you know, huge, but I think it'd be much bigger than that. Who knows if they didn't leave more fuel in there than they're saying, because they said it was expended fuel. How do we know there was not a lot more fuel than that? Who's going to see this explosion, folks? Think about this. This thing could have been completely full with fuel. We don't know. And they just happened to crash it into the far side of the moon, which incidentally we find a lot of structures and stuff like that on the far side. So, coincidental? I don't think so. And like I said, if it was on the side of the moon, or, you know, the face, or the part facing us, and it crashed in there, we would see a very large explosion if it was in fact filled with all fuel, right? So, you know, funny enough, it just happened to be going on the far side. And again, that's where we find a lot of the stuff. And we wouldn't be able to see the explosion. Nobody's ever going to see it. So how do we know? It just happened to break away from Earth's gravity, imagine that, and just find its way over to the moon and just happen to go right behind the moon. Christine Ingram, he said, they think we're idiots. The amount of photos we have seen something, see UFOs though. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like you look at all of these photos and we put so much together, whether it be here on the moon or on Mars, and clearly you know what's there. So it's almost like they're trying to erase much larger structures because at some point there's going to be people actually orbiting. You're going to be able to take trips for like whatever, how many hundred thousands of dollars. You're going to be able to just go on there. You're going to get a trip around the moon and then come back to Earth, and there you go. So, you know, basically it's not going to stop. It's just going to slingshot around the moon, come back, and there was your lunar trip of the future. And they don't want you to see stuff like that. They'd rather you didn't. Because then it would just like, what? Yeah. What's going on, Mick? What's happening, Mr. Gustavus Goss? Yes, Toffus. I want to keep saying Goffus. You can put a goose. Is it Gust or Goost? Gustav's son. I want to say if son in between, like an I in between. I keep wanting to do that. Hey guys, still at work. Hi Chris, what's going on, Mick? Good to see you, even if I did botch up your last name. But I appreciate you being here. See, that's another thing too. A lot of you folks are still at work, and that's why I didn't really want to do it this early. But on the other side of the token, I was like, well, get it done early. I know it's still, there's a lot of folks in the UK, and as well as if you're in like New Zealand or Australia, it's already going to be almost the next day if it isn't already. Yes, it is. Actually, it is. But anybody in the UK, at least we're on a little bit earlier. You can go to bed because you got to get up the next morning. So I'm thinking about you folks. I promise. Hello. Alusta, I can call you that. Hi, Chris. I believe that on the moon, they will build a recycle plant for space junk. The scrap already circulates through space. You just have to pick it up and transform it. Well, yeah, I mean, or just recycle it. Yeah, pretty much. And they could probably use all the material, you know. Oops. Turklerin, what's going on? Said hi, everyone. What is going on, Turklerin? Claudia with a chance of UFOs. What's happening? Hangout on a Wednesday? LOL. Is this new? Hi, Chris. Hope you're good. I am, man. I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, we won't be able to do it on Friday, so I figured I'd move it up to today so everybody can at least get a hangout in. I'll be out of town again, so yeah. So I figured we'd do it today and slightly earlier. You know, did it at 3 this time instead of 4. Try to get a little bit in there so people can still watch this and still be able to go to bed and get to work the next day. Kobe Smith, he said, thank you for showing the truth. Yeah, I mean, even though it could be like mind-boggling to your head, but it's still awesome to see. And Jean Ward will actually tell you this, that I'm sure when he started off, he was thinking, can be nothing on the moon or Mars, right? But he does mostly 99% Mars. But just looking at it, I'm sure he was like looking at it one day going, nah, that can't be real. You just kind of look at it and go, no, because in my mind, I was told this about Mars. So what I'm seeing is the way these rocks or whatever they may be, the way they're laid out just doesn't make sense. And I'm sure he scratched his head a few times and said, I got to show this to people. And this is basically how I started off. So, you know, again, everybody has a piece of the puzzle that they contribute to the truth. And that's what it's all about. Kyle Harvey, he said, do you know it takes 100,000 tons of fuel to rocket a ship away from the Earth's gravity, so they know exactly what they're doing? Yeah, everything from trajectory, how much fuel, you know, getting into orbit, slingshotting. I mean, yeah, they're not dummies. They've been doing this for years, long before the Apollo missions. This is how they were able to get there. Now, they did have issues, had fires on some of these missions, failures on some of the, well, I'm going to call it the technology back then. But they had issues back then, right? But they overcame it. Some of them, not so much. People paid the price. But, you know, hey. But it's not that they're dummies. They know what they're doing. They pretty much got it down. Yeah, we can use that. McGust, we can do that. Take a tongue twister. Gustafsson. I want to say Gustafsson. But yeah, we can do that, Mick. John Shaw, he said, Chris, UK, 2,100 hours. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Say what, 9 o'clock? And Christine Ingram, he said, no, you would see big flying monsters in the photos. They could not miss them all, Chris. Yeah, I agree. If you're talking about on Mars, though, remember we did see the helicopter, and remember that shadow that was going around it? Something was flying around that thing, and it was pretty high in the sky. It wasn't really clear shadow. It was kind of like a blurry shadow. So it's kind of like whatever this thing was, it was probably small, but up in the sky. But it's that weird combination because you don't know how far it was above the actual Ingenuity helicopter. So if this thing was a good size and up in the air, pretty far up in the sky, you're not going to get a clear, shadow. If it was a lot closer to the ground, obviously it's going to be more of a crisp, dark shadow. And this wasn't the case. But you could see this thing kind of like flying above it, like making maneuvers all the way around this thing, like it was curious about this thing, right? I don't know. Jean, you're 11 o'clock. Okay. Jean wants to say good night, everyone. Thanks again for the hangout, all. All right, Jean, like I said, at some point, like I said, we're going to try to get you guys on there. Because like I said, I got Will, yourself, and, I'd like to be able to just, even if it's an evening like we did last time where you share a lot of your good finds and stuff like that, or Q&A and stuff like that, that's cool too. We can do that. So there's so many things we could be doing, right? So we're definitely going to have you on soon and be able to do these things. So, but keep up the good work, by the way. And like I said, we'll talk soon. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs says all the governments are in on it. I agree. At least for the elites, meaning the people that are literally going to the moon, going to Mars, stuff like that. They know what's going on, and they're not dumbbells, right? Marina, you said no way to compare. That's a fact. It's hard to do that, right? Oh, okay. Chris, have you ever seen Grumpy Old Men? That's how you pronounce my last name. Okay, okay. Renee V said, hello, I still made it, Chris. Had eluded me that you would now also do a hangout. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just figured I wanted to get in there. I want to have at least a good hangout with you guys and, just talk it up a little bit and do what we normally do. The only difference is, it's not on Friday, which I prefer that because it's just kind of like what's the word I want to use? Like a doorway into the weekend, the beginning of the weekend, right? Even John saying that before he takes over, he says, you're 100% correct, Chris. I was totally shocked when I found my first anomalies. Good night. Yeah, and again, Jean, good night to you and have a good weekend there, right? Well, coming up anyway. See, I'm even thinking it's Friday. That's pretty bad. But anyway, yeah, I mean, when you start to look at these photos, you're just going, huh? No way. There's no way that could be real. You literally just like kind of look at the photo, look over it. Maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I'm not. What is this crap? How am I seeing this? And then you realize, then you see another photo. Wait a minute, there's something strange in that photo. Then you look at another photo. Well, you may not see nothing in that one, but you go to the next one. And next thing you know, you start seeing this, that there's a pattern there. Either the way they're hiding it, or it's just in plain sight. But people overlook this stuff because they figure what they've been told was that there's nothing on this moon or Mars. And that's what it comes down to. And next thing you know, you start going, wait a minute. So that's all it took for me was to do is just stop and really look at these photos? Wow, you got to be kidding. There you go. Frank Wicklow, what's going on? He said, I didn't even realize that it wasn't Friday. Advantage of or disadvantages of being retired. I hear that. I hate when this thing does that. Turkler, you said there is a theory that the Big Bang theory is wrong, theory of nothingness. Well, I mean, a lot of people argue that point, right? They'll be like, well, how does like all of this come out of nothing? Well, you just have to look it up. I mean, it's scientific, but it can be simplified. But it's like some of the scientists have said, how about if the universe just was always was? And we're trying to find the beginning because clearly, right, everything's got to have a beginning to it. Yeah, okay, but maybe that's not the answer. They even think that that may happen periodically, that there's a bang in the middle of the universe, and that's not what started the universe. It's always been. And they just believe that these are just random events every whatever, how many millions of years, and it just goes off, and there you go. Because the energy is already out there, or whatever's creating this Big Bang is being created by what's around that area. So I don't know. They say now they believe it's more than just one-off chance, and that's what created the universe. They just think the universe was always, or we just don't know how it started, and that these are just random things that happen every, again, millions of years. I don't know. Pretty cool, though. What's going on, Adam? He said, morning all. Is it Friday, or have I lost the plot? Last moon video, awesome, Chris. No, you didn't lose the plot, man. You're pretty good. It's like I said, we decided to just move it up to Wednesday as far as that, because like I said, it won't be on Friday. But yeah, the last moon was, like I said, I love that because it's, if you take the time to look at these photos, bring down them brightened spots, you can find stuff pretty darn easy. Shapes, different things sticking out of the ground. If you have to do a little burning, do a little burning. And then you'll find all of a sudden there's nothing there. You just go over it real fine. All of a sudden something looks like it's standing there out of nowhere. I've done a moon video years ago, and I just happened to be going, oh, let me just go over this real quick. And this area kind of has what looks like the pixels have been messed around with a little bit. So I was like, oh, all of a sudden something appeared like almost looked like a weird statue, but it just popped up out of nowhere, and it was right near the actual moon buggy. I'm going, so let me get this straight. So the astronauts are not just there for moon dust and rocks, right? Clearly they're there for something else. And it's evident right there in the photos. Jaden, you said, basically I was saying, was there any photos of Mars that they did not block out that got through? Not really. I think every one of them was pretty much filtered in some way. Even if you go back to the Mariner 4, like we just did a video not long ago about the Mariner 4 orbiter, they censor it some way, somehow, even if it's a very crude method, as long as they can hide what you would conceive as like, oh, that's clearly a structure. So what they'll do is they'll do their best to take it out, right? I mean, you know, they probably knew if we're going to have to show these photos to somebody, we're going to have to do our best, come up with something. And they had these guys in a think tank just saying, okay, so how would we filter this stuff out of the photo? I got an idea. Why don't we just do this to it? And of course, back then it was very crude. Didn't care. They just draw on it, make it look good, blend it, and we're good. It could very well be. I think jumped in. I'm trying to go back to where it was. Oh, okay. There we go. Let me see. Okay, we got that. Metalhead, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, I thought I was hallucinating the first anomalies I found. Yeah, didn't it blow your mind? But you're looking at it, like I said, you're just kind of like, what the heck is that? No, there's no way. Maybe it is. And then you just kind of like look at it. You're like different positions. You look at it and you go, okay, I've seen this. Is it possible any other photo that's out there has something that doesn't look natural? So as you go along, maybe it's just a one-off thing. Maybe it's just a fluke. Then you find another photo with something in there that just doesn't make sense. And you go, it's not a rock. So whatever this thing is, I'm not sure, but it's on Mars. So it's like this double whammy thing going on in your head. Like, one, it's not a rock. So clearly it looks intelligently made, meaning it's not natural. And then it's on Mars. Okay. And then the more you see that, you learn to accept it. There's much more on this planet than what they're telling us and telling the public. Renee V said, nice, Chris. Thanks for doing one more. Love your channel. I appreciate it, Renee. I do. Mick Gust, he said, okay, my coffee break is over. Back to the balmy negative 27 degrees. Can't wait for spring temps. Yeah, we're getting into those. And then, of course, Mother Nature goes, just kidding. Because we were like 70 degrees, the other day. We were just like, just chilling. Could have been out there with a lawn chair. Oh, yeah, just kicking back. Well, this weekend, I don't think it got up to 50 today. And it's supposed to be like 30 on Saturday and probably have some snow for Saturday. They're saying anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow or 6 inches. I'm like, what? What is going on here? Yeah, Mother Nature goes, I know, guys. I know you're enjoying this, so I have to put the stick in the spokes when it comes to this. Just kidding. But it's working there. It's working. It's getting there. Mars Lake, you said the Hogale crater looks geologically designed. Yeah, it's, again, what they're in there for is not something natural, or they're looking for the building blocks. That's not true. I mean, they may have been doing that too, but that's not the main reason why they're there, right? It's basically a recon mission. They know what's up there. They're purposely in these spots, designated spots that they've mathematically worked out and put each lander or rover where they need them to be. These, again, they weren't just sitting there looking at a planet of, like a big map of the planet of Mars, just throwing dots at it. Go, yeah, it looks good. What do you guys think? Pete, you think that looks good? Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, just go ahead and build this multi-billion-dollar machine between the rocket. Well, first of all, you got to draw up the plans. We got a rocket, build up the plans for this rover, which is extremely technologically advanced. It can basically be left alone. You don't never have to do a thing to it. We'll just build all that just because. I mean, we got nothing better to do. It's like just toss a dot, we'll just land something there. No. Very, very well thought out, guys. Kyle, you said, all right, there, Chris, there's nothing on the moon right then. Why are they sending rockets there? They know what they're doing. We know what they are doing. Stupid. Well, yeah. And of course, you don't want to use this pun, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out, right? Especially when you've seen, even if you looked at the stuff yourself, seen the stuff on Mars or the moon, again, because we're talking about two different missions, and they know what they're doing. You know as well as I do, I'm looking at it going, okay, I'm seeing these things in the photos. Clearly they were being hidden. So we know why they're on the moon. That's all we need to know. It's that simple. Kylie said it's ridiculous that our tax money is paying them to play war with BS. You're right about that. You are right about that. Steve, he said, boy, it's been a long day so far. Might have to fire up the bowl. Just remember, puff, puff, pass. You don't want to go too far. Lionheart Glassworks. Can't find my glasses. Forgive me if I spell wrong. Heck, I do it, and I've got glasses on. So don't worry about it. Alien Tenno, what's happening? Good to see you in there. He said, was watching Bright Insights channel the other day, and the old Egyptian capital of Tanis looks like the ruins on Mars. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of very, good similarities to this stuff. Now, some people say, yeah, well, don't let it fool you. They're literally taking pictures of some place here on Earth and they're using that as Mars. Again, my argument is if they're going to do that, like I said, you're going to make sure you don't take a picture of anything in the photo. In other words, you're going to take it of an arid desert that's got nothing in it to see, and you're going to make sure that you don't have, other than just putting a red filter right over it, right? You don't have to do a thing to the photo. Nothing. If it's just completely rocks, just, dry desert, what would you have to hide in it? Unless, of course, there's a cactus or something along. But you would take it in an area where there's nothing to be seen. That's it. You wouldn't have to block any of this out. That's what my argument is. And yet they are, so what does it tell you? So clearly, they're doing something with these photos. They're overlaying an actual, some BS over the actual photo, and it's not from here, from Earth. Josh D says, sadly it's midweek and I have a very early morning coming, so good night all. All right, Josh D, good. I'm glad you're here as always, man. Appreciate you being here and have yourself a good night and don't work yourself to death. Just pace yourself and we'll catch you soon. Let me see here. Flux Capacitor 72 said, back to work. Enjoy time with family, Chris. They do grow up too fast. Well, that's a fact. All right, man. You go right back to work and I don't know. I wouldn't say enjoy yourself because not so many people enjoy their job. But yeah. Appreciate you being here. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. Helps the algorithms out. Helps them out big time. Let's see. What's going on, Corey? Good to see you in there as well. I don't know if you jumped in there. I didn't know that. Well, I just skipped over you and didn't see you earlier. Mars Leaks. I know you guys are talking about fire into the bowls and everything. And said Mars Leaks says Elon never inhaled. Yeah. Mimi Reaction says Mars is one big debris field. I think there's more to it just debris. Mimi, I think there's actual structures there, but they're just really after a lot of the stuff that's actually pretty much decimated. Of course, I don't know why they would waste their time with that when they can just go into an actual structure. But maybe that's what the helicopter's for, the Ingenuity. So they can fly in and out of these things or above and around and get the information that way. And of course the rover's on the ground and they can just kind of like search through it, right? And of course they can do like a super zoom and see everything in really good detail or great detail. So they're getting like both perspectives, ground as well as, up in the air too, as aerial. So yeah. I did not have sex with that woman. Oh, sorry, Bill. Yeah, Kyle, you're right. You know, Chris is trying to read past all of that, but in the middle, but on the inside, he's laughing. Yeah, pretty much. Yo, spark that shit up. Pete Ferrero, he said, Buffalo 33 degrees now, 25 tonight with snow on Friday and Saturday. Yeah, it's pretty much what we're getting here. It's going to be mostly on Saturday, though, I think. Maybe Friday night into Saturday. So we're getting that kind of front that's doing the same thing. It's going to hit you guys as well. Kyle said, if I've watched all of the UFO TV on-demand shows here on YouTube. I have watched all the Earth Files with Linda Moulton Howe. I know exactly what they're doing and what's going on. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could just piece all of this together and go, oh, okay. Because what you won't get in one video or documentary, you'll look at it, okay, but why is this? And all of a sudden you get information from this one and then this one. And you kind of piece it all together. You go, oh, okay, this makes sense now. Yeah. Lee Barker, good question. I don't know. I've never really heard of that. Now, I've heard about like a hologram type thing, but never like a face. Your question was, you may have heard this question. I saw a post where a guy was filming the moon, and when the phase of the moon is full or close to it, they cast a hologram over. Now, I have heard of that over the face of it, you said, not a face. But, yeah, I heard of that too. Now, I don't know if that's something that's being done by the moon itself. Now, as far as like a hologram, I don't know if you're talking about like Crow 777. Other people have claimed that too. And, you know, it's basically that kind of like lunar wave type thing can be all debunked and all that. And then, like I said, then Crow went off the deep end, saying the moon wasn't real at all. You know, I'm going, okay. That's like saying our planet's not real. But regardless, I mean, everybody's got their own different ideas. I just think that's a bit much to swallow as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, is it possible that we can? I think the question is, can we cast a hologram from here over the face of it and make it look like there's really nothing there? Have to be a pretty good hologram projector, I'll tell you that. Or it's emanating from inside the moon. I don't know. Good question, though. John, Chris, had the Russian cosmonaut been thrown out of the space station yet? Yeah, they told him just to get out and walk. So we had enough of your shit. No, as far as I know, you know, everything's cool there. But who knows, right? Corey, kind of, it'd be funny to see Chris pull out a bong out. Say, what did I do with that anyway? No, it would be funnier was that take out like a 40-pound bag of Oreo cookies and start eating it after that. That would be funnier. Guillotine Press, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, said apologies, this has been asked already rather. But have you seen the new movie Moonfall? I have, a really good movie. How many of you have you guys seen it as well? I know some of you folks I think said that you did. And if you did, what did you think about it? Either thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, somebody's in the driveway. Have to let the pit bulls out. Oh. What the heck? Ugh. Man, now we're talking about moon shrooms. Man, this is getting interesting now. Let me see here. Now, I don't know about you folks. When I seen this, I almost died laughing. This was published a day ago on the site space.com. China's U-2 rover beams back stunning. Keep in mind, stunning image after 3 years on the Mars. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Mars now, right? The moon's far side. Okay, so let's expand this. I'm looking at this. I'm going, what part of this is stunning? I'm just curious. Anybody see that? Get my face out of the way here. Does anybody see anything stunning about this photo? I think this is hilarious when I saw this. No, it would be really funny, guys, if I'm going, guys, I don't smoke that stuff. See like a cloud of smoke come out. Like a Cheech and Chong scene, right? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, Long Island, New York. Yeah, I said that image is garbage. This is supposed to be a really good photo, the way they explain it. Stunning. I don't know what part of that is, but I've done this area. Like I said, right here near this rock and all this, this is all BS. It looks like it trailed all the way in the back. You can see the marks on it, and that's not true. In fact, I guarantee, just looking at this, I guarantee you could pull a bunch of crap out of this. Yeah. I like that one. Lee Barker said, my calculator takes a better photo. It's like, how does that work? Well, actually, probably right. Sad thing about it is, like I said, I can get just this older iPhone. I can use this and take a lot better photos of that area. And you know as well as I do that this is not a real photo. And what I mean by that is everything in the background from like this point right here in the middle of the photo, you can actually see the texture change big time. From, like I said, right around here in the middle, all the way back is completely manipulated and censored out. And I can almost promise you in the foreground it is too. What you got to do is look at this rock here. I don't know if I can do this or not. Let's see if it does it. Because sometimes you can only zoom in only so far, which even this rock right here, you can see the way they put like this, looks like it's been drawn in as far as this dirt. I promise you, you take this photo and just enhance it. Watch what happens. Well, I think that was because it was stitched on Long Island. He said, yeah, what's up with the wavy shadows? You think you're talking right here. These have been stitched together. You can see they're pretty much the same, the separation's almost the same, right? So that's what I'm thinking right there. You can see that. So that's what they did with there. But it's still, from that point halfway up, this rest of this is completely censored out. That's what I was saying before, Pete. You said the photo looks worse than NASA's. Couldn't agree with you more. It's like, wait a minute. We have technology that the cameras would be absolutely mind-blowing images, details, and this is the kind of crap we get back? Seriously? What's up with that? I wonder what this is way the heck over here. Isn't that way in the background there? What's that supposed to be? Let me guess. The lander? Oh, that's sad. How does anybody take this seriously? You think they would, even the scientists are saying, okay, guys, great joke. Seriously, where's the real photos? Come on, stop messing around. But they probably figured, hey, listen, these people wouldn't know the difference because there's no way to vet it. You can't go up there and go, let me just see if they're showing the real photos. Unless, of course, you have your own spacecraft and orbiter and you take the photos of the same area, you'd never know the difference. How can you prove otherwise? Well, the proof is in the actual photo. Mimi, you said the background looks so fake. Yeah, you're right about that. I totally agree. I think that's all individual things, and then making them look like a mountain range or a hill range type thing. And all of that right there from midsection up is completely manipulated out. In fact, I believe this hill in the back, and I've seen this 1,000 times, this hill in the back, it's actually, whatever these are in the back are actually taller than that. In other words, they're a lot closer. There's big objects standing right here. This is the reason why you got half of this completely blocked off. I think whatever, let's say there's a structure here in the mountain area. If you were to keep going, that you'll find it's actually tall. It stands like from the top of this mountain all the way down here, meaning it's a lot closer to the actual rover. It's not really far away. They make the ground look that way, so it looks like it's really, really far away, and it's not. They're pretty darn close to it. And what they do is they put these fake, wheel marks in here to make it look like it's traveled all the way in the back. So clearly, there could be nothing in this photo, right? They're pretty slick. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, they're not exactly the best people at it there. Long Island, New York. He said, that's a pretty poor stitch. You got that right. C.J. Arnold. Might as well have been taken with a photo of Ron Jeremy's butt crack, basically. Yeah. See, Steve knows. It's Swampcast. That's all it is. We're all just imagining these things. Come on, guys. No, we all know better than that. Mars League says, stunningly stupid photo. Yeah, but, I mean, you've seen it, right? That's what they claim. Stunning image after 3 years on the moon. And they still don't have a real camera on it. What's up with that? Yeah, I don't know. Time-lapse imaging of YouTube 2 progress across the lunar landscape. And, of course, it says, get this, image credit, NASA, GSFC, Arizona State University. Wait a minute. Why is NASA in any of this? Again, bedfellows, folks. That's what they are. That's all it is. So all of these people who are way up above this crap. Ooh, spots that mystery hut. Remember that? Yeah. Has transmitted back at Earth an image of an odd cube-shaped object on the far side of the moon. And of course, it turned out to be, what was it? It looked like a stone rabbit. Get it? Jade rabbit? Yeah, so, yeah, there's nothing there, folks. Come on. And I've done a video on this. This is absolute crap. Then when they got up to it, it turned out to be some kind of weird rock laying on its side. Whatever. Long Island, New York, he said, China probably hacked this image from NASA and then just distorted it and called it their own. You know what? Nothing would surprise me. At all. Nothing would surprise me. Kyle, you said that the black sky above all of it, where's the stars? There should be stars above the black. Hello, McFly, anyone? Pretty much. Let's see. NASA launches orbital solar observatory. Don't touch the cube. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about you folks, but when I see stuff like that, I just go, how does that look anything like detailed photo? I see garbage. That's what I see. Let's see. Satellite imagery shows reduction in light emitted from Ukraine amid power outs. That's sad. Look at it. Completely almost in darkness. Ian, you said, oh, is that? Yeah. We should be getting spectacular high-res photos of the surface of the moon by now. A $100 cell phone could take better photos than what we are getting from NASA, etc. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I can get a piece. I had one of those little pieces of garbage phones. It looked like one of those raspberries. It just, I mean, don't get me wrong, they are sad photos. Or cameras they take. You know, you get the camera. I'm trying to remember how many pixels that thing was. I think it was like 1 megapixel. It was just really sad, if it was even that. But it takes a very small photo, and it looks like some piece of garbage. It's almost identical photos. It's like, did you guys use one of these things? Sad, really sad. NASA's next big space telescope could see Jupiter-sized exoplanets. Sweet. I love how they at least did that as far as, and I mentioned this last time in the Hangout, where SpaceX is like, they got all of these satellites around there, these CubeSats, and given internet in the areas like Ukraine and stuff like that, people who can get power or still have power, you know, I think that's cool that they can do that, but of course they said be careful because that may be targeted, it might be hacked, so you've got to be careful. But I like the idea that they did that, so at least they'd have some way to contact the outside world. So, but they're using most of that for the military as well, right? So they can still get, you know, the information out of the country if they had to. Study decodes how Webb telescope may help find alien civilizations. Yeah, so if they're out there, by air pollution. Ooh, air pollution. What happens if they're like far more advanced than that and they're not using coal and all this other crap, right? How do we know? Kyle said after sending fake photos, put two and two together, that means there is something to hide. That means we are not alone. Thank you for telling us, people. Yeah, pretty much, right? It's like, Jesus. That's what it is, Mimi. Maybe you're trying to entertain the aliens, right? He said the cube is actually a speaker box blasting music, moon disco rather. That's funny. That's pretty cool. You know, they got to listen to music too. I mean, why not help them out? Pete Ferrero said off-the-shelf camera. Yeah, we're supposed to believe them. You know these are phenomenal cameras, absolutely pristine, best you can get in the world, best built, the whole 9 yards, and yet we see something that looks like it was taken with a potato. I mean, it's really sad. And of course, I know if you guys heard, but Russia decided, well, we're not going to give you guys, the United States, any more rockets. Whatever, dude. I mean, you know, it's not like we're not perfectly capable of doing it now. And besides, here's the cool part. Because Elon's using reusable rockets, right? So basically, you can pitch them to Bird and say, we don't need your rockets, homie. We don't need them. In fact, while you're at it, stick the oil too while you're at it. You can take that and shove that. So, again, depend on your own country for its resources. We have oil, even here in my state, capped all over the place. We don't need to go there. But like I was explaining to a friend of mine, I said, think about this. You have oil capped off all over the United States. You're not even using it. It's your reserves. If it came to desperate times, we can uncap it and we can use it. We're not in the dark. We're good. So you don't really need to do that. We'd rather take from or import oil. What happens if they run out of it? Well, and you still have a crap ton of it. Well, you are now the superpower no matter what, because you have what they want. And you can sell it at a premium, and they'd have to pay for it. So that's the reason you just get it from other places and not use your own. You know what I mean, guys? Stay out of your own stash. But you know what I'm saying, right? So that's the whole key to it. And people just don't get that. So, but if we're only getting, I forget what it was, 10, 20% of the oil from Russia, we don't need them. We don't really need them. We can find other ways. I heard people going, oh, you know, the electric car thing is starting to look better and better. I said, no. I said, this will pass, trust me. But I don't sweat it one way or the other. I really don't. Shame, blame, name game. Listen up and listen good. Never give up doing what you're doing. Keep fighting, scratching, clawing for the truth. Well, that's what you got to do, right? You got to just keep at it. That's what it comes down to. And if it's something you like doing it, you don't care. It's kind of like you can hate your normal job, but if it's something you like to do, maybe it's hands-on mechanic, maybe it's electrician, maybe it's whatever. You know, like I said, I used to tool setter for like 13 years. It's actually a little over, but I call it 13. You know, so if it's something you like to do, you like to use your hands, you work on things, you don't care. Day goes by quick, get it done. So, especially if you like doing it, yeah, it's really not scratching at the truth because you're actually getting it out anyway, regardless. But yeah, that's what it takes. You really just got to just keep rolling with it. Earth Nature, great question. You said, how's the Antarctica channel coming? I haven't been on doing anything with it yet, and I still have that other video. Actually, I think I've got 2 of Antarctica that I need to get out real quick. Yeah, I've been saying this I don't know how long now. But all of these other ones keep coming up. Like as far as the moon, I got more of those coming up. So we might be like a series of those coming up. It's just like whatever's there I see first, grab it and go. That's basically what it comes down to. And because there's so many cool stuff to see, whether it be the photos of Mars or the moon, you just grab it. Okay, that looks good. Send it out. Okay, this. Oh wow, something else I just found. Again, make a video, get it out. And it's like it's basically been on the back burner, but I do have some more I need to get done. So I'm glad you actually. Let me see. I got it on this computer as well. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that too. Kyle, you said first of all, there's no stars. Second of all, it's all blurry. So why would they be sending fake photos unless there's something to hide? It just makes sense. Well, yeah. I mean, you know as well as I do that should be like pristine, right there in your face. It should be like I said, it should be so awesome, crisp, detailed photos. And I'm seeing garbage. Now, is it possible you're going to have a little photo degradation because you're uploading it onto the site? Sure. I still don't see it's going to make that much difference, though. Let's say it's, we'll go as far as 10, 15% clearer than this. Okay. It's still a bunch of garbage, regardless. Corey said, my camera is 48 megapixels and it's amazing. Well, yeah, you get some really, really large photos out of that, right? That'd be awesome. And you know, they're capable of doing that too, right? I think they said it's what, a 20 megapixel on the Perseverance rover, is it, guys? Is it 20? And it may be much, much larger than that. You know, they just say that. But, you know, obviously the more the megapixels, the larger the photo. And if it's absolutely pristine, even if it's a minimum of 4K, just like the Ingenuity helicopter has, then you know they're completely sharp and they're huge. So they can see everything over there with great detail. And not like what you're seeing, this piece of garbage right here. This is sad because, you know, even for the Chinese, they're going to have really, really good cameras. I mean, they make great technology, whether they're, like somebody mentioned earlier, whether they're taking the technology and copying it, which they can be notorious for. But on the other side of the token, they also have their own inventions and they're really, really good at what they do. So regardless of the fact, you should not see this piece of garbage. You shouldn't. White Bear Sky Daddy, what's happening? Your question was, does that mean you're not live Friday? Not this Friday, no. This is the reason why I'm doing it early, because I'll be out of town again. My son is actually competing with his school, and yeah, we'll be up in Indiana. We won't be here. So I figured, you know, I don't want to like hose you guys out of like a hangout, and I want to share some time with you too. So I said I'll just go ahead and do it on today. So that's why we're here. That goes back Long Island, New York. Big Daddy Kane. That goes back. Steve, you said censoring and manipulating. Pretty much. Long Island, you said Putin knows about UFOs. Every one of these guys do. Especially them. He'll be more forceful because he's basically in the special forces anyway, right? The KGB. You know, so he's going to have all the ins and outs. He's going to know what's up. Marv Leaks, he said, did a fast enhancement. There is stuff in the middle and pipes built into the hill. Oh yeah, I've done a section of this at one time, and I don't know if it was on the right-hand side. And there's all kinds of like stuff laying on the ground right there. So it doesn't surprise me that you find all kinds of stuff laying right here. John White, you said Antarctica is my favorite mystery. Easy to explore. Then Moon and Mars just takes a lot of money to do it. Pretty much. Don't you just wish you had that kind of money? It's like, we're there. Steve, you said, I know that's what they're doing with the James Webb telescope, space telescope. Yeah. And like I said, folks, they know what's out there, but they probably really never had a really good, I mean, of course the Hubble's good, but now that this thing is like, I think it's like, I forget what it is, it's like phenomenal compared to the Hubble. So it's going to continue on what it's been doing. Now, you know as well as I do that they've probably seen things before, like Dyson spheres or whatever it was, and these exoplanets way out there, X amount of thousands of light years, and they'll be able to see this with great detail, a lot better in these different wavelengths. So you can bet they'll find extra stuff in there. They'll find some crazy stuff. Long Island, New York, James Webb telescope is zoomed in on Putin's ass crack. That could very well. Yeah, but that would be a void, wouldn't it? It's kind of like what's between his ears. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to see much there. It's going to come back, no data. Oh, that's not even right. Kyle said, this photo is not even real, dude. It's a fake. Well, let's suppose for a moment that I think I know exactly what's going on. They literally just went over this whole photo. Because here's the thing. Even if you were to fake this thing out, which you could do, right? I mean, heck, they could do this in, like they blame NASA for doing this in the studio. They could literally just paint a background and make the backdrop look really good. And it could very well be 100% fake. But when you bring stuff out, here's the thing. If you can bring something out that literally has solid shape, like pipes, what looks like something square on the ground, something, whatever it may be, and it's literally in certain areas like laid out, you know there's much more there. So there's an overlay over what's really in this photo. That's how you know it's probably real. If you couldn't find anything out and it's just a bunch of blotches of nothing, it's fake. It's pretty much trash. Yeah, we were just looking at that. Bolt Heyday, you said, Chris, zoom into the black spot mid-left right before the fake mountain spring up. Yeah, I was doing that earlier. You can see right here. And I think that's actually supposed to be the lander. Look at it. It's literally buried. Let's get into this further if we can. You can literally see it's transparent, guys. Look at this. Right there, you can still see like a line. I'll put it right in the middle if I can. Right there. Look at right here. There's a line halfway up of like a blur of manipulation. You can still see it faintly below that line. Can you see that? That's what I'm saying, folks. Come on. So it is there, but it's being blocked and everything's being just done over. It's literally being overlaid. Oh, thank you, Marina. You said, I wish your son to win. Well, I mean, he's with a group there, so we'll see what happens. We always have faith in them, and they're cool with it. They just like, listen, even if we don't win, there's like, you can have 16 to 18 schools competing. And if you're like the top 4 or even the 2, I mean, they're happy. They're like, listen, out of all them bloody schools that are there, you can have like, these schools are insanely large too. And to be able to compete with them and then still be like ranked way up there or win X amount of awards and stuff like that, it's crazy. Ian says the universe is full of life and advanced civilization, no question. I totally agree with you. I think 100% that there's life out there, and it still is, and it's thriving out there. Steve, you said it could be a deep fake where AI generates it. Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. You can see where it's going over that, because it's actually, I don't know if you can see it too well on the monitor, your phone or whatever, but right, you can see the corner of this right here, and it goes straight across. Nice, crisp, straight blur type kind of thing laid over there. But again, it's transparent, folks. You can see through it. You can actually see through it. Edward Williams just said, why don't we see stars? Well, I'll tell you why you don't see stars, because this is not the top of the photo. There's actually stuff in this background, almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. Make it look like that's it. This is the top of the mountains, and the rest of it is just space. That's what it comes down to. And you know for a fact that's not the case at all. Yeah, maybe, like I was just saying, you said, I bet the mountains in the background are fake. No, I think what they are, well, they're making them look like mountains. Here's my thing. I believe that there's all kinds of, things here, meaning intelligently made, and they just blend it all. Just kind of go over everything, so you don't see any individuality of these parts or whatever they may be just laying here. They literally block it out by blending it all, putting like whatever they can between each object to try to fake it out, to make it look like there's nothing there. But I just see that. Right in the middle there. Right here. There's like a very large pipe sitting right there. See that? Right here. You can see it's like this here. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it kind of looks like that, just coming down into that area. There's something laying right here. Look at the white part right here. And you can see a straight line in it. Whoops. Let's go back into that. Go to this side here. Put it right there in the middle. You see a straight line right here. And you can see this white on each side of it. There's something laying right there. And there's something right here. This white parts are the actual parts, folks. Yeah, this is, you can see it right from here. From here down, whatever these things are, it's right here. It gives you the illusion that this stuff is way off in the distance. The reason why you see this, look right here from this point, right here. A little bit of detail, not too much, all of a sudden complete nothing. So whatever's in the background is probably tall, and this stuff is a lot closer to this rover than they're making it look. It's not. Oh, you noticed that, Mars Lady. You said the mountains are cut off. Yep. William John says, just blotches and blurs? Seriously? Yeah, that's what they got to offer us. And nobody questions this crap. This is what I don't understand. Marina, you said it would be lovely to analyze Voyager images, or did I miss that? I think you said, did I miss it? Or the point is to analyze only surfaces of planets. I mean, anything, let's see how we can say that. If we wanted to, most of it's either the surface, like with Mars and the moon or whatever, right? But if we find something that's interesting, like of another planet, like, they got the Voyager passing other planets and stuff like that, which they do have photos of it doing that, right? But a lot of these have been censored in some way. You really can't see a whole lot. This is the reason why, like Jean will do satellite photos of Mars, right? Because there's some really interesting things there. And then, of course, I do a lot of these, which are ground photos, and you can see that, whether here or on Mars itself. So, yeah, we'll be checking this photo out a little bit more. And if any of you guys are doing this, of course, you're gonna get the link to this, so you can be able to check it out. And it's interesting, and it's sad at the same time. Do that. There's the actual photo, but I just don't. I try to wrap my head around the fact that nobody asks questions about this. You can literally go on a lot of these forums and ask these guys, well, why aren't there better photos? And of course, they'll give you that data excuse. Well, there's only so much. I don't want to hear that crap. Like I said, it's kind of like having dial-up back in the day. You wanted to download like a pristine photo of maybe your favorite actor or actress, whatever it may be. I don't care what it is, a car, whatever it may be. You get it down, it's going to take a long time. You'll see it do this, progressing down the screen. Doot, 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 doot. You see a line, but you'll get it. You'll get it. It'll take time, but you'll get it. So this dial-up data speed crap, I don't want to hear it. It's a bunch of trash. Kyle said, like 75% of the people walk around with just horse blinders onto the world. Well, they're so tied up in their regular humdrum life, and I'm not saying everybody's life is boring, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that it's just a routine over and over and over again. Now, I guess that we pretty much all do that, right, to a certain degree, because we're basically creatures of habit. But on the other side of the token, if you're into this kind of thing, there's always something different. This is the reason why I said I love watching my favorite channels on YouTube, because there's always something different. Like, a buddy of mine was bragging about how, I think he said, because I told him, I said, I don't watch satellite or cable. The only thing I have is internet for cable, because that's all I need. And plus, I've got streaming boxes that do everything I need it to do. So I don't need their crap cable, because, he goes, yeah, but I got all the packages. And I said, I'll bet you do. And how many other photos, well, I want to say photos now, how many movies do you see on there that's the same old blah, blah, blah that's been around since the 70s and 80s on there? Oh, quite a bit. And they might give you one movie free for the month. Yippee. How can that justify you spending that kind of money? I think it was like $197 a month. I went, are you insane? I'll tell you what, give me the money and I'll put it to good use. How's that? I hate to see you blow your cash, so let me go ahead and get that and I'll put it to good use. I don't get it. I'm just, wow. It's crazy. For high speed, I spend like $90. So, and I have no issues. It works fine. Like I said, I'm basically transmitting to you folks and I'm watching it at the same time, which you guys watch. So I got it coming and going, and very rarely do you have a glitch unless something's wrong on the line itself, or there's just a lot of traffic, whatever the case may be, right? So, and then you have maybe some buffering and stuff, or just somebody's trying to mess with the feed, and that's fine too, right? But I think it's just crazy. Oh, got to get back in there. Yeah. Hey, Ricardo Petrozzi, what's going on? I said, hi, everyone. What's going on? He's scratching his head going, why in the hell is he on Wednesday? And if you just joined us, I've been telling everybody that I won't be on Friday because I'll be out of town at 10 o'clock a.m. Won't be in town at all. So I said, I still want to do a live feed with these guys, at least give them something to get them away from the BS going on in the world, and be able to share and be able to talk with you guys for 2 or 3 hours and be able to chit chat, So, yeah, that's where we're at. Yep, Kyle, you said they're afraid of change. Yeah, pretty much. James Cragen, what's going on? Good to see you in there, brother. You said, hi, Chris, and everyone tonight? He's probably scratching his head, too, going, what? Yeah, but Ricardo said, hello, just been told you were alive. Yeah, it's a little lagging over there, isn't it? It's like, what? Yeah, but what a... Enrico, he said, middle of the week, what a treat. Oh, yeah. Let me see. I hope he does. I'm the same, just a different name. So I think Elon Musk is going to expose everything about Mars eventually. God, I hope it's before we're all dead. That'd be great. That would be fantastic. Great for All says, war is a great distraction. Nobody talks about COVID or aliens. Yeah, you notice how the talk about COVID's kind of dying down? I'm not saying it's not there anymore, but you notice you don't hear it quite as much in the news? And it's still pushing everybody to get it. Did you guys see that, remember the paperwork, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys last time, but Pfizer, how they were saying, yeah, in fact we did talk about it, because I remember you guys echoing the same thing I was saying, where they didn't want to let out the information about the makeup or the chemical makeup or whatever you want to call it of their vaccine, and they said, well, yeah, we'll release it in 75 years. I went, that makes sense. So, one, you don't want to be responsible if anything happens to people, and two, you don't want to divulge what it's actually consists of, but they were forced to put it out. And if I can find it, I'll give you the list of it. Folks, I'm not lying to you. If you're looking on the phone here, all right, it takes up the whole bloody screen. It takes up the whole screen of things, everything from kidney failure to it's just stuff how, excuse me, stuff, how it messes around with you, different organs of your body. I mean, the whole 9 yards. They had to put it out. The judge said, you will put this information out. And they did. Really, really wild stuff. And sad at the same time. It's crazy. So what are the other ones made out of? Steve says, I zoned out for about 20 minutes, but I've been here the whole time. That's because you've got the puff, puff, pass. See, that happens. A buddy of mine will do that. We'll be on the phone and be like, oh, dude. All of a sudden, you don't hear nothing from him. Hey, you all right? You all right? No, he passed out. I just hang the phone up. They'll call me up later laughing. I'm the same, just a different name. Says, ba-boom, and COVID was gone since the war. Imagine that. Robert Harbour says, let's see, I almost never watch TV. Wife is watching Netflix or Hulu, and I spend my days watching YouTube. When we get bored, we rent a movie. Cable and internet are paid for by someone else, not us. Well, there you go. That works. And here's the thing. You know, I've got two of them NVIDIA Shield boxes. And it's funny, when I went to go buy one of those things, I'm thinking of like the size of a PlayStation. Remember even the skinnier PlayStations, you thought, wow, these things are going to be dynamic. No, they're about this big. A little tiny little thing. But they work phenomenally. They're actually well put together. Software works good together. Everything about the box works great. I have no issues. I've had some other cheaper little Android boxes. They weren't worth the diddly. And they were a total waste of money. They didn't navigate good. Nothing. This thing's work pristine. Now, they got the ones that look like a little tube. Not a big fan of those. I got the Pro, which is the actual box. And, of course, they're not cheap. They're like $200 a piece. But well worth it. I mean, absolutely ordinary. Above ordinary, because like the ones I've got, like you're talking about, Netflix, all that trash. I've got movie apps. I can watch what's in the movies right now. I've got everything. Even the stuff they give you now. What is it? Peacock TV, Pluto TV, which is just stuff you want to watch. It's older stuff, but if you want to flip it on, you can watch that. But those are just like little things I put on the side. But as far as movie apps and everything, I get everything just Gucci'd up on there, and I can watch whatever the hell I want. And it's in the bedroom and in the living room. So I don't pay for something that I've seen 100 times already. It's like, oh yeah, it's like you go back and you say, oh, well, let me see what movies are on, like HBO. Let me see. In fact, my daughter gave me her password for HBO Max. I went, why do you spend money on this piece of shit? It's not worth crap. It's absolutely sad. I said, I've got a movie app that you can watch all of that and never have to pay a dime for it. Oh, it's only $5.99. I said, okay, how much is Netflix? Okay. Excuse me, how much is Hulu? How much is this one? Add them all together. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. You start learning, you go, damn, I thought that's how they get you. Yeah, this one's only $5.99. You go, $5.99, it's a piece of cake. But then, like I said, add up all the other ones you got, and you go, oh Christ, I'm spending $60, $75 a month just on this junk. Then, of course, you pay for your internet. And then, oh, Jesus, you know, they know how to get you. You don't realize it just like creeps up on you. Steve, I didn't mean to. Oh. James, you said, Chris, the ship that Shackleton sailed to the North Pole and the Antarctica, etc., 100 years ago, was found under thousands of feet of water yesterday and is still in great condition. It's called the Endurance. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's funny how when you go back and you find these weird things, like stuff, you go, wow, we never thought we'd find that. And it's in great condition. That's just awesome. You know, I don't know how anybody doesn't like archaeology and stuff like that, or these ancient civilizations that they find. I don't care if it's simple stuff, folks, right? Like vases or vase, depending on how you want to pronounce it. All kinds of crazy stuff that they find, and just simple stuff. You go, wow, just you know, just the work that these people do to, to make these, and this goes back thousands of years ago. Tiled floors. A lot of these, I think it was the Greeks, had heated floors. They'd have like water underneath the floor, and it'd be like heated water going underneath there, and you're walking around and it's nice and cozy and everything else. They had basically like a jacuzzi type thing. And this all goes back then. Of course, it was crude compared to what we have today, but you know what? It probably worked a whole lot better back then. It was probably pretty consistent, working all the time. Mimi Reacts says, I can recommend Magellan TV to you if you like history documentaries, or documentations, like you're saying. I don't mind history. I don't mind those, but I don't like the things that like war ones. I know people like a lot of, like I got a buddy of mine, he loves everything aviation. He was a pilot and stuff like that. He likes anything to do with world wars or any of that sort because, of course, you got these warplanes and everything else, and he's a big fan of that. I can't get into it, stuff like that. Anything, like I said, ancient civilizations, anything like that, or anything to do with space, I'm down. I can watch that all day long. Yeah, Pete, you said the Chinese people probably think this photo is really great. Yeah, unless even in the simplest guy over there, a woman says, I'm a photographer and this is absolutely hideous. I mean, you look at that and just go, okay, guys, seriously. Kind of like what I said about, Gale Crater or Mount Sharp when they first had the first photo come out from Curiosity rover. It's like if I was in that press conference, sir? Yeah, oh, yeah, you got a question? Yeah, can you tell me who drew this? Did some of your kids like get together with crayons and just like draw this together? I'm just curious. All right, throw him out. I mean, that's exactly what would probably happen to me. Because I'd be like, seriously, where's the real photo? Is this like a little animation type thing to show us what's really going on? Because I'm seeing it looks like somebody just sat there and just drew this. And they'd throw me out. But you can't help but to, be honest. I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm the same, just to go by got a different name. He said, my friend spends $15 a month on YouTube just to skip ads. Really? That's crazy. The only problem with skipping ads is this. This is the reason why I recommend everybody just watch the video through. And I don't make super long videos. I mean, you can literally sit down, you're watching it, before you know it's already over, you go, oh, okay, it was only like 10, 15 minutes. What's the point of skipping them? To me, I mean, you can get rid of the ones that actually pop up and you can't see the photo, yeah. But I would rather watch the thing through. If anything, it helps the channel out. By skipping it, it doesn't help the channel at all. This is the reason why you monetize, so you can make a few dollars here and there. But it's not even about that, really. But it's mostly to help the channel out. And like I said, if they're not really long videos, what's the point? Now, I can see if it was a 45-minute video, you go, oh my God. But you can use an ad blocker for that. It's just crazy, right? But even then, they've got to work around on that, too. But regardless of that, I go, listen, if it's a favorite channel I like to watch, I'll watch the thing through. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's not like I got a short attention span where I got to jump through a video. I don't really care. Especially, like I said, if it's only like 10, 15 minutes long, heck, you just sit down, you're just watching it, all of a sudden it's over. Okay. It's the reason why some of you guys are like, oh, if you did a half-hour one, I wouldn't care. It's like, well, I try to keep it so everybody can just watch it throughout the day. In other words, you got a busy schedule. I get it. 10, 15-minute video, you can literally eat your dinner and it's already over. I mean, so that's why I just tell people, just watch the thing through. It ain't worth it. Now, if it's an hour video, documentary, okay. I get it. Pete Ferreira said, cut the cable and satellite a long time ago. Antenna only. TV still sucks. Use the internet access through the phone only. Well, I mean, I'm the same way. I don't, like I said, I've got one antenna outside. It's like a long-range antenna that feeds 4 TVs in the house. You want to watch some basic stuff on what's on TV, that's fine. If not, I just go change the input, put the box on, and I can watch anything I want. So I don't care. I'm not going to pay them to give them cable. Yeah, you know what I need? I don't know about you folks, because I know you want this. I'm gonna drop this on you, so pay attention. What you guys need is home shopping channels, because everybody needs that, right? You need at least 15 of those so you can just sit there and buy junk, useless junk you'll never use. And of course, I was being sarcastic. But yeah, come on. They were like, oh, you got 150 channels. Yeah, 50 of them are music. Now, I love music. I got XM and I got all that. So I pay for that. I don't care, because I've got it in my vehicle as well as on my phone. So I like listening to it. I got my own faves, whether it be hair bands or whatever it might be, classic rewind, all of that stuff on XM. And I watch that. I watch it, but, listen to it. And it's awesome. I'm not going to spend it on cable or satellite, and it says we get 50 channels. Well, 50 of them are music, 10 of them are home shopping garbage, or CNN, or not CNN, but like a local Congress channels. I could care less. I mean, and then when you narrow it all down, there's absolute garbage. I'll tell you how it would make money. Listen to this. But I know they can't because it's regulatory. But if you said to me, hey, Chris, I'm from whatever. Let's say you're from my state, and you go, it's like me. I would like to see news and programs from my home state where I was born and raised. Can't do that. But if they could do that and they said, okay, you got to pay X amount of dollars to have these. In other words, pick out a bunch of channels, and if you want to have stuff from another state, you can do that. They would make money hand over fist. But because they have to pay these regulatory and all this other BS that goes with it, okay, then pay it. That's what we're paying it for. I'd rather see something else from another state. Half the time it's garbage here. But they would make money hand over fist if they do that. But I know there's implications, or not implications, but I know there's different things they're going to do. Pay the taxes from that state, plus you're going to pay taxes here or whatever state you're in. It's never ending. There's people doing this out of your wallet. It's taking money constantly, right? It's a pain in the rear end. But that's how they'd make money as far as I'm concerned. Steve, I didn't know you had ads. Mm-hmm. How's that blocker working for you? Ricardo, you said I just zone out when the ads come on. And I don't really care, because I know it helps the channel out. So I just let it run. And if it's an ad, now some of them, I seen one on one channel, I almost died laughing. It literally had an ad come on. I said, it's just an ad, what's the big deal? I'm in the other room getting something to drink, and this ad was playing and playing. I'm going, what is going on in there? 15-minute ad. I went, that's not an ad, it's a documentary or an infomercial. What are you, serious right now? Skip. That makes sense. If it's like 20 seconds long, 30 seconds long, no, I'm not going to bother with it. There's no point in it. No, I appreciate it, Steve. He said, I'll turn it off during the videos now that I know you have ads. Well, I mean, it does help with the channel. It does. And like I said, they're not super long. I have them in the beginning, and then there's a couple little ones in there, and then, unless it's a real long one, then you're going to be like, oh my God, it's like ad after ad. And I don't blame you. I'd be the same way. Jeffrey Eaton, you said, what does everyone think about Nibiru? Do you all think it is real? Judging by the ancient writings and based on their knowledge of the planets here in the solar system, I'm not going to say I believe it 100%, but I believe I'm 50-50 on it. 3,600 elliptical orbit around our sun. Okay. It's believable. They do believe there's an 10th planet. Well, it would be 9 now because they downgraded Pluto again. Nibiru was supposed to be in our solar system. If you go by that, and again, if you count, I don't think they even counted Nibiru at the time, but they would count in. They might have done that, because if you count in, if they're the 10th planet, you counted. They said there's 7th planet, and you go 7th planet makes no sense. Yes, it does. If you go backwards towards the sun, we're Earth. So they're right. But not only did they get the sizes right, but they got the colors right too. how did they know this back thousands of years ago, right? They had to have gotten this knowledge from somewhere. They're not stupid. They were pretty smart they didn't have the technology we have, but yet they got the information from somewhere. So, you're talking about the Anunnaki, talking about the Sumerian ancient text, and according to them, there's a Nibiru. So, and I said, I'm probably 50-50 on it, because if they'd known about just the regular planets we have in our solar system now, the size difference, the colors, and they had other information about them. Again, how do they know all this? So, do you just dismiss the 10th planet or Nibiru? I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't. So, like I said, I'm 50-50 on it, because you can't really put 100% stock into it, because you really don't know, unless, of course, they can confirm it. Of course, they did say there's a larger planet out there pulling on the other outer planets and making them kind of like wavy and dance a little bit. There's some gravitational pull out there. So, I don't know. Really don't know. But it's funny how they come up with a 10th planet, and of course Nibiru was a 10th planet, right? Yeah, Pete Ferreira, I know that. You can zone in on your state through the phone. Yeah, I mean, I do. I've got, what is this app here? This is just several. I think it's TuneIn. I don't even have to look at the phone. It's called TuneIn. You can get other apps that'll do the same thing. You can just put in your zip code you want to listen to, and then pull up all the channels and stuff, which is great. I like it a lot. And I can listen to my home rock channel. It's called WHJY, 94 HJY, in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm going to sit there and just tune out my car, and people are going, what the hell are you listening to? What channel is that? You won't get it. It's a little far for you to get this. And they're like, oh. So, yeah. Yeah, Edward, yep. He said you can with a streaming service. I try not to pay for anything if I can help it. In other words, I'm not going to go completely like, oh, let's just pirate everything. But on the other side of the token, look at the way everything's going. Folks, what is the food like over there where you guys are at? How about the gas or fuel? How's that going? Whether it be diesel, electric bills going up, everything's going up. And then they go, how come these people are bitching and moaning about this? Well, let's see. Paycheck's not. I mean, this is what's funny. And if you do get a raise, it gets absorbed into something else that just went up. You're like, good God. I mean, I think we got $4.09 here a gallon. Now, I know it's different. I think you get it per pint, I think it is. Is it a pint, or what is it over in the UK? Regardless of it, I know you guys you don't pay in gallons. But if you, of course you do times 4 or whatever, you can get out the equivalent. But what I find interesting is that, it's going up fast and fast, like you would not believe. Some of them are like, I seen one of them today, it was like $4.19. I went, are you insane? And of course, you look at like what's going on over in California, it's like 6 and change. And some of them peaking way over the 6, or at least peaking over the 6. It's ridiculous. It's crazy how much people are paying for this stuff, Robert Morgan, thank you very much for your support. As always, I do appreciate you, man. And hiya! I don't know if he's like just saying hiya, or if he's hiya, So that's cool. I do appreciate it, Robert. Let me see. Steve, you said they're for the paid people, and I donate, but I've been fighting to keep my business open. So in other words, I don't have much cash, but I will help a friend out. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? I mean, I don't know what kind of business you're running. If it's something that people absolutely need, then you'll be fine. It'll get slow for now. You know that in the beginning of the year, it's always crap. January through March, maybe a little bit into April. And of course, we had all this COVID and crap going on. So it's a bloaty of business regardless of the fact. But as long as you got a business that people need in every day or something like that, you're golden, right? I mean, I remember years ago, I think I was telling you guys this, that I was a tool setter for like 13 years, and then I would sell at the flea market. Funny enough, right? I'd go to a buddy of mine, he had 4 pawn shops, okay? I'd go in there, buy anything electronic. So I'd have all kinds of, and this goes back to like 2000. So you're talking about the little Nintendo GameCubes and, PlayStations, all of that stuff, right? And what I do is if they bought a game console, they'd have like 2 controllers, they get a free game. I didn't care, just take a game. But I'd have everything, I'd go in there, I'd get all like top-notch stuff if I could. I have everything from Nakamichi to Bose, all kinds of Advent speakers, all kinds of stuff like that. And I'd have people come in every week, and they'd be like, "Oh, what do you got today? What do you got?" You know, and it's just over the weekend, folks. That's all it was, and it'd be nothing to clear $500 to $1,000 profit. So, you know, like those big Bose radios. Remember back in the day they had the infomercials about those? They were like $1,200. I was selling for $400. You know, I mean, people were boom jumping on them. So I made I paid $200 for them. I'd sell them for $400 or $250. I'd pay for them rather. I make $150 profit just for one piece. He made his money. I made mine. Everybody's happy. So, but it was constant. In the summertime, you know, my buddy. In fact, well, it wasn't my buddy. It was my brother-in-law at the time. But he had a stand similar to mine. He couldn't understand why I'd get boom boxes. What the hell do you want those things for? That's stupid. I said, is it really? I don't know about you, but I know people like myself that like to go out on the pool in the summertime and have some tunes out there. You know, whether you're pumping music through it, you know, with a CD or, you know, doing a Bluetooth kind of hookup to it or whatever it may be, or to take it to the beach. Oh, I never thought of it like that. I said, that's the problem, you don't think. You have to evolve. You have to be ever-changing. And people love that. That's what it comes down to. Per liter, I'm sorry, yeah. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs, you're right. I'm saying pint. A share a pint? You know, yeah, let's not go there. Let's see. Which is really cheap, Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. You said $1.66 per liter over here now for petrol. Grim is F. I know what you mean. Which is about which is cheaper than cheap. I don't understand how you guys are so cheap, because usually you guys are a little bit higher on fuel over there. Where it's like I said, we're like $4 is, you know, $6. Thankfully, again, I told my wife, listen, if this gas goes through the roof, because they claimed it'd be, well, depending on where you're at, it could be $7 before the summertime. And I'm talking about here, because California's already hitting over 6. So, well, depending on where you go, it's 5 to 6. I said, I'll just drive my electric car. I'll pay a little bit more for electricity. It's not going to hurt me as bad as it will with the gas. I'll park the hybrid and just drive the gas. And I'll go to work. You know, she can drop me off, and then I got an electric scooter. It does 15 miles an hour. I'll drive that home. I don't care. You know, I just give them the high five to the gas companies. That's the way I look at it. I don't care. There's always a way around it somehow. Take a bus, carpool. It'd be a lot cheaper to carpool than it would be to pay it outright, especially if you're going. And people go, well, it's not that bad of a deal. It's like, really? Well, I hope you don't let your tank go way down, especially if you drive a truck. Mimi said, so I guess it's, okay, $2.40 per liter in Germany for super. That's not really that bad. Enrico, he said, even though this channel is about far out things, it keeps me nicely grounded. Yeah, because this is the reason why you want to have like everyday talk as well as space news, because I love doing anything space, of course. That's what we're based on. But it's also good to talk about everyday reality, although you want to try to keep the negativity away. And I mean deep negativity, right? Like wars and stuff like that. But as far as like regular conversation about fuel prices and stuff like that, like I said, you turn around, everything's going through the roof. And like I said, everybody's like, I don't know why people are complaining, because they act like they're suffering. Yeah. When you boost all of this up, why don't you go ahead and hit us up and like drop another $2, $3 an hour on us? That'd be good. At least it'll help compensate. Reminds me back in the day when I had like Blue Cross Gold, right? This goes back in the 80s and 90s, and I had it through my job, and of course I was paying in too. It's funny because then the job would say, oh, by the way, you're going to get a 3% of your paycheck. You're like, oh, wow, sweet. Well, not a week or two later, by the way, the cost of medical just went up. Of course it did. Of course. Wouldn't have it any other way. So you know how that works. It's just ridiculous. Is it really $6.55 in there? Kyle, you got to be kidding. What was it? Yeah, you're in Columbus. So I was like, really? Is that high? April Fool's a little too soon for that. It's like that pre-April Fool's joke. I'm the same, just got a different name. He said, what do you think about the monolith on Phobos? Well, it's there. That's all you can say. And of course, Buzz mentioned that a long time ago. Once they hear it, they're going to say, who put that there? You know, kind of thing. And it's interesting. I mean, what's the chance of that thing? And it's pretty tall. You can see the shadow from it when you see the photo, right? It is pretty tall. So it makes you wonder. It's like, okay, yeah, who put that there? And why is it there? And yeah. James Cragen says, Chris, the fuel is going out of control in Ireland and the greedy government are going out of control also. Yeah, well, of course. And it's like, they're thinking of 15 ways to gouge their prices and stick it to you. That's what it comes down to. I just seen a meme today. Somebody was saying that gas companies be like, and of course they're all in gold chains that look like Mr. T and everything. Gold chains and gold around their wrists, watches, and that sounds about right. Yeah, it's the same thing here, Kyle. It's like 409. Some of them I've seen at 416. I'm like, what? Steve, did you say let's go Brandon or brain dead? Yeah, it sounds like the latter sounds about right. That's not too bad, Renee. You said you got a Mini, so that's not too bad. And they're pretty decent on fuel, right? I know a lot. This is what I love about the UK. A lot of the vehicles over there are diesel or turbo diesels, right? And I had a diesel Volkswagen Rabbit back in the day, back in the 80s. Loved that damn thing. 55 miles to the gallon. Loved it. Now, was it a sports car? Not by a long shot. But I had one of those and I had a Jetta. That was a diesel, but loved it. It was like a train, man. Just put it to the floor, just kept gaining speed. The one I had, the Jetta, was a 5-speed. I mean, you see 55 to 60 miles to the gallon. Are you serious right now? We got diesels here, but very few. Why? They want you to be dependent on gas. It's just ridiculous. Woof, Pete. Cost $100 for my daughter to fill the Traverse today. Good God. I'll tell you what I thought was really interesting on... not last weekend, but the weekend prior, we rented a car. I always rent a car when I put some serious miles on a car. And not serious miles, but it was like 300 plus miles, right? I always use a rental because in case of an accident or, you know, just out of the fluke that my car breaks down, you're in the middle of nowhere, nobody, and it could just eat up a friggin' weekend. So, and it's not that you couldn't get it fixed. Got the money to fix it. It's not the point. It's just like it literally screws up your weekend. But anyway, so... we end up getting, it was supposed to be a Camry or something like that. We end up getting a brand new Malibu. I don't know if any of you folks own one of those. But it had the 1.5 turbo in it. And of course, I'm a gas miser. I try to do what I can. It's got like well, I shouldn't say 6. There's 6 and then 6. So there's 12 little squares, and 6 of those show eco. So as long as you keep it in the eco, you're not spooling up the turbo a lot. So you literally I got 40 miles to the gallon out of that thing. And on the way back, it was darker, colder. It was like 38.7. You cannot sneeze at that, man. That's nothing to sneeze about. That's actually pretty darn good considering. Now, my average in my car, my hybrid's like 47, 52. You know, depending on, and if I go on the highway, do a lot more of it, I'll get 53 to 55. So that's not bad. But it's, wow. That's not bad considering. It's like, hey, they're starting to learn. D. Tubbins says diesel here in southeast Missouri is $5.50 a gallon, plus gas is holding $3.79. Yeah, folks, I know you're at least people in the States here. I don't know how it was in the UK. 80s, right? Go back to the 80s, even 90s. Flip the script. Diesel was always cheaper. Now it's more expensive. You ever notice that? Now I know there's more of a demand because you got a lot more trucks and of course trains and all this other crap and stuff like that. But oh my God, it's gotten like it's totally flipped. It's not the same anymore. It used to be like $1 something cheaper than regular gas, and that's why people love diesels back in the day. You're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, cheaper and get a lot more miles per gallon. John White, you said, I think those monoliths could be communication substations similar to a wireless mesh network. I mean, it's there. I mean, God only knows what it is, right? Maybe it's part of something sticking out of out of Phobos itself, the moon itself. I don't know. It's just really bizarre. Renee, you could only get a F450 driving cash register. Yeah, I mean, every time you like step on the gas, you hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You're like, what is that darn cash sound? Basically it means you're getting bent over at the pumps. Yeah. Robert Morgan, you said high gas prices does limit our liberty and freedom. At $6 plus a gallon, you won't be traveling much. Well, that's the thing, and that's what hurts the local economies too, because you say, I just can't afford to drive around that much. I mean, I can go to work, maybe go a couple places, but that's it. I'm limiting it. Well, all the businesses start to suffer because of it. My cat just woke up. She's over here in the bed, just chilling. Just woke up like, oh, what's up? Poor old girl. Stevie said, yeah, this economy is seriously killing my business, though. I don't see how any metal fabricator or any business of the type could be doing good unless if your business is old and has the name out. Yeah, that's true. Because obviously, you know, longer than it's been out, then, you know, more people are familiar with it. But yeah, I mean, this is the reason why sometimes businesses will pick up something extra to do too. In other words, let's say you're, you know, obviously if you're fabricating, then you're building stuff. But I know people who like started selling things in their shop too to help offset the slower business with, you know, what they typically do. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's sad. Maybe you're talking to Ricardo. You said I miss MTV. Yeah, when MTV was MTV, I remember the first day it came out, and we had it on. It was actually a satellite that it was on. It was on regular. It was on UHF, and you had a converter box, and it was on channel 27. You tuned into that, and it had a little dish. It was about a 6 or an 8-inch dish that you put on your roof, and you would get this one channel. And one of them had like MTV, and then sometimes it would change. Like it was just weird. And I remember the first day it came out, I was just ready for it. Yeah, it's coming out. And you see the astronaut, and you're like, yeah! And it was all music. Then, of course, they needed to support the channel, so they went to all kinds of commercials and everything else. And people dealt with it. They were like, okay, I'm still seeing these music videos. Then they went to trash TV. So it should be TTV. And then as reality shows on, oh my God. Then VH1 became like that. Then they had an MTV2, which is complete trash. I said, I'm good. I won't watch this crap ever again. There was one channel, and if you're from Boston, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's called V66. All they had was it was just music videos. I was like, oh my God. And of course, I lived in Rhode Island at the time and had to have a good antenna to get it. But I would listen to that. And I go, people are like, yeah, did you see what's on MTV? I don't watch that trash. I want to hear music. And it's what I want. Music television. I don't want to see that trash. Oh, there you go, Steve. Yeah, you said I do other stuff like computer repair. I do woodworking. Yeah, I mean, if you can use that to offset, then it helps you out. Um, simple things, believe it or not. I remember walking. Oh my God, this is funny. I went into a place. This was years ago, and there was a guy that was in there, and then there was a woman in there. So the guy was walking out. I guess he had his computer serviced, right? So I can hear the woman in there talking to the owner. He says, "Oh yeah," he says, to clean the computer out and this, that, and the other, it's going to cost you like $75, blah, 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 blah. And she's explaining. I didn't hear the whole thing as I just walked in, right? So I'm like, he says, I can install this for you and you can use that. I'm like, and this is an older woman. She's not like 90, but she was an older woman. She's like, well, I hope it ain't going to cost too much because I said, listen, I bought something off the guy. I think it was a hard drive at the time. And she said, well, let me check with my husband and see if I can, I don't know if I can afford that, whatever. And I felt bad for her, right? So I walked out there and said, listen, tell your husband to go online. Here, let me write this down for you. And look up sea cleaner. There you go. She's like, what? I said, this will clean your computer out. It'll clean out a registry. It'll clean out all the junk out of your computer and everything else. Freebie. It's online. You can get it. You can go to filehippo.com and find out everything you want. Your antiviruses, all kinds of things like that, video packs, all this junk. You can get it all on there for the freebie. Some things you have to pay for, but most of that stuff is free. I said, come on now. In fact, I gave it to a buddy of mine and installed it in his computer. When he had it worked on one time for something else, he says, how did you know about Sea Cleaner? Nobody really knows about that. And I got off a buddy of mine. Oh, yeah. And he ended up paying this. What was it? He paid $75 or $100 for this. Oh, my God. It was basically a crap cleaner, right? It was on a disc. It sounded like a toilet when you used it. So when you hit it here, I'm going, what did you pay for that piece of trash? He said, I don't think it was like $75. I said, let me show you something. And I had my thumb drive. I don't know where the heck it went now. I used to have all these apps and I help people out. Plug it into it. I said, this is what you need right here. After he ran his program, he ran mine and mine found so much more. I said, you're paying for this. You paid for this for what reason? The guy couldn't believe it. He almost crapped himself. That was pretty funny, though. But, I just don't like people taking advantage of other people. I just don't like it. Yeah, she's chilling right here, Mimi. She's old. She's like 60, going on 17 years old. She's one of these long-haired domestic cats. I don't know if I showed you the other one I had, the gray one. She's passed on now, but because she was up there, she was like 16 years old as well. But this poor cat, she's got like all his her fur is like matted and stuff because she's long-haired, and they just go, I'm not taking care of myself anymore. I'm good. And I was like, oh my God, this poor cat. Hi, baby. Not to mention she's blind. And she had some other neurological thing go on with her where her head's like constantly tilted type thing. I know a buddy of mine had his dog went through it and really didn't do too well with it. Exactly, Steve. I should have told him what the software was about if it made a flushing sound. He goes, yeah, you know what that sound is? Because it's a piece of crap. He said, wow. Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, Corey, you can get a cat. There was a neighbor of mine. She had a cat that was like 23 years old. And this darn thing, I swear to God, it's almost like it was dead. It just didn't have enough sense to lay down. It literally smelled like death. It was an outside cat, go in once in a while. It was just, oh my God, this cat was sad looking. But it would love, you can pet it, and it purred a lot, and it just, wow, it just stunk like death. I'm like, good God. I think it was 23 years old. 24 maybe. And she, the owner finally came out. She saw it on the front lawn, just dead. I was like, ooh, that ain't good. But yeah, it's a really good age because the average is 16 years, so that's actually really good. But hey, he said, oh, sad. No, she's actually a good cat. She gets along. She does everything she does. Cats are not stupid. It's kind of like yourself. If you lost your gift of eyesight, then your other senses actually get more sharper, right? She gets up and she's in a certain spot where she gets up. She walks around, goes right to the food and water bowl. Goes into the other room, goes to the bathroom, comes back out like she wasn't blind. My other cat was the same way. she would do the same thing. I mean, once in a while, if she'd bump in a little something, but it wasn't like really bad. And they just learned the floor like you would if something happened to your eyesight. You just learn the floor and the pattern. As long as nobody puts in a chair in a way and you don't fall over it, you're good. But yeah, it's they're very smart. Yeah, at some point. It's kind of like, Corey, you said, yeah, it's crazy they start to go really thin, don't they? Well, it's kind of like humans. They're no different, right? You start losing weight because you don't eat a whole lot of anything. She still does pretty good. She still eats pretty well and drinks everything. She does, like I said, you never really know it. But yeah, she's going through she's going through quite a bit. But again, it's kind of like elderly people, right? Oh, Steve, that's pretty funny. The chat is going kind of fast with my IRs being tagged. Yeah, it's again, Ricardo, it's just like people, right? You said my cat lived till 12. That's sad, though. I mean, it's obviously, when you have an animal, it becomes your family. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's dog, cat, whatever it may be. And if you had them that long, especially my son, when she had, because her name was Smokey, a gray cat, short-haired. And basically, when she was a baby, or he was a baby, he basically grew up with her, and he was really close with her, and of course, the whole family was. But, and then when that happens, of course, you feel like you lost a family member, which you did, right? James Gregan's going back to the moon for a second. Oh, darn. Oh, there's a race going on to get the lower part of the moon in order to get mining in the massive amount of water and helium mix that is a great fuel. What do you think? I absolutely believe that's true. I believe right from the word go, during the space race way back when, 60s, 70s, and I think that started long before then, to be truthful with you. Like I said, the people knew it was up there. They just couldn't get the stuff together fast enough. Let's suppose you took a photo of the moon back in the 50s, okay? And I mean a really good photo, and you saw something on there that didn't belong there, and you said, okay, clearly that's not ours. It looks like something that's intelligently made. Of course, now you're going to come up with all kinds of, you're going to pass it. Okay, what are we going to do, man? We got to build this. We got to get up there. And it takes time to do this. You got to, rockets they pretty much had down already because they've been using rockets since the 30s and 40s, right? So they pretty much had that down. But you get to the point where you're just like, okay, so let's get up there as fast as we can. It wasn't to put something out in space; it was to get to the frickin' moon. And that's what this was really about. I don't think it had anything to do with. I mean, it was a space race to a certain degree. They put Sputnik out there, and and of course, we try to do the same thing. We want to put space labs or spy labs up there, and the Soviet Union wanted to do the same. But then, what was that? Just nothing more than a smokescreen for what was really going on. What they really wanted to do is put, get to the moon and get what was up there. That's what I think was going on, and I think it's no different today. It's no different. They know it's there from the very beginning, so now they're making trips to go up there, build or take or whatever they want to do, and that's why they're there. It's the same thing going on at Mars. It doesn't matter, right? Pete said our cat's is 17 and sleeps all day. I would too if I was pretty much retired. Right? That's what a cat does. It's like, I'm good, man. Just wake me when I got to go to the bathroom. We got to eat. That's pretty much. Steve says, I love my cats. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I got dogs and love them too. There you go. Steve Wagner says, hey everyone, don't forget to like the channel. That's right, folks. Like it. Oh yeah. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Here's what's really weird. I've noticed this earlier, and I know you guys have probably seen this too. This thumbs up was actually about 100 back then, and now it's only showing 73. You guys seeing the same thing? You know they're messing with you. You know they are. Kyle, don't you just hate when that happens? My dog craps on the couch, eat all the food out of the fridge, changes the damn TV station when I'm trying to watch commercials. I know. Don't you hate that? God. Yeah, Corey, that can happen too. In the last days, she liked to lay on cold things because her skin was burning, I think. Well, it's just maybe just I'm very uncomfortable, right? Yep, exactly, Ricardo. Oh, space race began in the late 50s for the moon. Watch the old black and white movie called Moonshot. It's fantastic and very representative era in the inter-services of rivalry. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. Yeah, there you go, Corey. People killing each other, and we just want to know what's on the moon or on Mars, right? Actually, right? Either one. Yeah, that's a crazy thing. Everybody's obsessed with not getting along or warring, and I just go, I just don't get it. I just block it all out. It's like I don't want no part of it. I know you are, Kyle. He said, I'm just being funny. I'll have a client. I didn't see you jumping there. Must have jumped in there when this thing jumped on me. Well, it's like you're trying to go down when the thing takes off on me. Elaine, you said my two cats will be 15 years old this summer. My previous one was almost 17 years old. Yeah, they say the average is 16 or 17, which kind of sucks, right? You wish they'd like live real long lives, but unfortunately it doesn't happen that way. Renee V said Sputnik 1, bizarre how that thing looks. Well, yeah, they basically just want to just build a simple transmitter and send it out in space, right? So I think it's a cool idea, but I would have tried to build something a little more extravagant. But I don't think it was more of that. It was more or less, can we get it out into low orbit? And then can we get it to function and get a signal back? And it pretty much did. It's in a simplistic form. So they knew, okay, the rockets were the real test, right? Get it up there. Okay, we knew we can do that now. We can get it out into orbit, and of course, now we can have it transmit back. Okay, we know it's functioning. So, which is cool. Harvey says, do you know if we spend all of that money that we spend on war here on peace, the gas price would only be $1 a gallon? Well, it's not even just that. Think about how technologically advanced we'd be today if everybody worked together, less warring. We didn't depend on what the other guy has. Well, he's got oil, so I really need that. Can you give it to me? Nah. It's just this is the reason why you got to be independent, right down to you yourself. We don't have to depend on anybody in life. You got to do it yourself. If you don't, they always got you over a barrel, one form or another. You know. Pat Owen, what's going on? You said the U.S. went to the moon, but not to collect rocks. Even if they did, I think it was more. I think it was more metals than anything, and I think the rocks were just a spoof, right? I think it was just a bunch of garbage, because they said, and I don't know how true it is, but they said a lot of these rocks were nothing more than petrified wood, and they gave to these other institutes, whether it be museums or whatever they were, absolute garbage, or something you can probably find here. And how would you know the difference if I gave you this nice rock and said, "Here you go"? Unless it was purely granite, you'd be like, "This was on the moon." I mean, yeah, you'd be questioning that, right? So, I don't know. It's just, to me, I think that was just a smoke screen to actually bring. They probably had like the little briefcase full of rocks and dust, and they go, "Okay, when we go out of there, right? We'll put on a show for the TV. We get off the spacecraft, and we're now going into." What were they doing? They put them in that other. Remember that? It was like a makeshift. It was out of one of those Airstream trailers, and they put them in. They had them secluded in there and stuff like that. And they said, when this is all over, take out the real briefcase full of parts and stuff we found up there, whether it be certain small parts or whatever. They can see what the metals are made out of, and they probably brought the real stuff out after. Now they couldn't bring a whole lot because there wasn't a whole lot of room, but the pictures were probably like abundant, where they probably took close-ups of these parts if they couldn't take them with them, and they brought them back. So, you know, film doesn't take up much room. I mean, you know, and it doesn't weigh anything, so clearly you could get it back with the spacecraft. Pat Owen says the U.S. went to the moon to collect alien tech. I think that's exactly what it is. There would be, you wouldn't want to sacrifice a person's life, you know, astronauts being, and none of them just going to say, yeah, what's that? You want to go for rocks and dust? Oh, I'm so down with that. I can't wait to almost, like, maybe there's going to be an accident and just, like, kill myself for a rock. I don't think it was just that, folks. You know, if now somebody told you today, well, let's suppose we're an astronaut, and back in the 50s, even the early 60s, right, when they were going to plan to do this, and they said, hey, we'll go with you, Pat. What would you have been down more with, you know, if they said to you, by the way, we're going to have you go up there and get some dust and some rocks. We want to see how old these are and how old parts of the moon may be. And by the way, we're not going to lie to you. There may be some serious implications that, or some real, you know, real dangers you could face. The rocket could blow up on the landing pad. And anyway, so he's telling you this, and you're going, this is for rocks and dust. Are you insane? Listen, there's not enough money in the world to pay me. I've got a family at home. Or they said, by the way, Pat, let me take you in this briefing room here, and we want to show you these photos. And you're going, what is that? Oh, these are structures in what looks like a dilapidated spacecraft, and there's a couple of things there, and we'd like you to go to the moon. He wouldn't finish the sentence, and you'd be like, I'm down. Let's go. Let's go. I'm all for it. You would not risk your life for that. It just doesn't make any sense anybody would do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's people who say, well, yeah, I like the idea of that because it'll be the first step for mankind, and I want to be part of that. So that could be true. But you'd be more apt to go if they've seen something you went, wow, I got to check that out. You'd be definitely wanting to go. I mean, at least for me, that's the way I feel, right? Yeah, exactly, Pat. Just like scientists are looking for microbes on, on Mars. Yeah, right. Again, they may be looking for substances in the ground now for, you know, for maybe utilities or something they can use it for now once they get on Mars. Now, again, they've already brought like a small machine type thing, right? Where it would convert carbon into oxygen. So that test was done, scientific test, so they know that'll work now. Okay, so they can build a lot bigger version of that when they go up next time, and they'll have like a crap load of oxygen. They won't have to worry about it. So they don't have to worry about that. So they can have structures. Of course, the plan was to have them 3D made. You know, these crafts would fly there, and basically they're robots. They would actually, you know, build these 3D structures, and of course, you know, you'd come there and you'd put these things on the side of them, and then you can breathe inside there, and there you go. I don't think that's the case. I mean, well, I do, but I don't. Because I think if they build our own structures, we build our own, it's because we're in an area that's, you know, on Mars that's completely decimated. And in other words, you couldn't live in it. Or they're just saying that, and there's structures there that are not decimated you could live in, even right now, and with no problem at all. So, I don't know, you know. It depends on what they're really looking at and what area they're in, right? Exactly, Corey. He said like they're going to come on the news and just say, yeah, everyone, there's a city on Mars. Have a good day. Yeah, not going to happen. Here you go, Oliver. You said, yeah, they drove for potatoes. Yeah, we're going to have mashed potatoes tonight. Mimi Rex says, I'm taking off. Good night, everyone, and sleep well until next week. Kyle says, yes, Steve, if I'm If I'm playing anything, I'm in all the way or not at all. Maybe I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to be jumping off this bad boy too. Like I said, I was just glad to get in there with you folks and just have a good time. So it was just great that we could do that. Obviously, there wasn't as many people in here. So, and I get that. First of all, they didn't know it was Friday. It was last second. I think it was like not even quite an hour that I put that up there. So people didn't know. And I don't blame anybody for that. It is what it is. And I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. As always, you guys are awesome, especially the ones that actually do the super chat support. I do appreciate you. And I even have the PayPal link to help support the channel. If you don't want to do the super chat, some people can't figure it out. And it may be just kind of weird on some tablets or PCs. I don't know. I don't own a tablet, so I don't know. And I haven't never done it through my phone, so it might be different. I don't know. I just try to make it easier on people, you know, because sometimes they'll say, hey, I want to support the channel, but I can't get that thing to work. I was like, all right. But anyway, any support, like I said, is always great. You guys are awesome. And nothing but, you know, much love to everybody. And I'm just glad everybody was able. And basically, the regulars are here, so that's awesome. And even though some of you got here late, that's fine. Just make sure you get a hall pass next time. But like I said, folks, I do appreciate you being here. And much love to you all. And, you know, like I said, we couldn't do the Friday thing, so I said, well, we'll do it midweek. It's better than nothing. And it breaks up the monotony of what's going on during the week. It's on hump day, so hump day. And, you know, like I said, it's not Friday, but that's fine. You know, at least we got it in there, and we're able to chit-chat a little bit and have a good time. And, you know, there's a few of them folks in here, puff, passing. So you already started off the evening well. And, let's see. Keep in mind, Pat, we will not be here Friday because I won't be here Friday. This is the reason why we're doing it today. So anybody that's on here, don't think there's a Friday hangout. There is not. Like I said, this is the reason why we did it. We stepped it up and did it on Wednesday instead. So, William John just says, stay cool, Chris. I appreciate you, William. You do the same, right? MG Toe, I didn't even see you slip in there. I would have said hi to you earlier. But he says, thumbs up, everyone. I appreciate it, MG Toe. Let me see. Renee, he said, okay. Chris, feel lucky with your son. Best channel at by far. Everything okay. Jean is also here. Joe, top Chris. Oh, this drink's going to kill me. Yeah, exactly. Rico, yeah, he said supper time. It's pretty much supper time for me, too. I actually got on earlier, so I didn't eat until then. So I'm falling out here. Yeah. Nope, no chat. That's why, like I said, I want to at least get one in with you guys because I know, like I said, you guys look forward to the chats. And like I said, with all the BS going on. And we might even start doing these kind of randomly. And I know I still want to be on the Discord. I want to go up there and do that live as well. So we're going to probably try to start that next week, even though things are changing big time on my job, my regular job. So that's going to be like crazy there. So I'm hoping to be able to keep up with these. But I'm going to let you guys know what's going on. I'm not going to leave you in the dark or anything like that. Keep you guys, you know, I'll be in the community letting you guys know what's going on. And even if it's kind of disrupted a little bit in the beginning, we're going to make sure that it don't because I got plenty of these to put out. So even if they're quick ones, just get them out and be done with it. And still pass along all the good content we've been doing. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to let everybody go. What time is it? 13. We'll wait until 6:30 and we'll shut her down. So you got like 17 minutes to chit-chat. Again, thanks everybody for your support. You guys are awesome. Again, I can't say it enough. You're just good people. And that's why it just keeps me coming back to do these things. So it's just awesome. But everybody be safe. Trying to let all this negativity around you get to you and stuff like that. Just try to do your own thing and because it'll just bring you down, you know that. But, yeah, I mean, it ain't the weekend yet, but it's going to be. We're already Wednesday, so in a couple more days, and we'll be on the weekend. So everybody be safe, have a good weekend, and we'll chat soon. Peace, everyone.